Yes, guys, welcome back to the Irish Hotspur with your boy Dave and Jack. And football is back. It feels like Christmas Eve. I am like a kid at Christmas. I cannot wait. And of course, we kick off preseason tomorrow against them bubble merchants, bubble enthusiasts, West Spam. But Jacko, how are you, my man? Oh, you're on mute, Jacko.
All right. I'm doing all right, Dave. I'm kind of listening back to Ange Postecoglou's press conference, and I'm trying to or at least rifle through, all of the different Harry Kane questions that he received. I think he received at least 10 different ones, and I'm kind of impressed by the way in which he sort of deflected each and every one of them. Kind of more so than probably any of our defenders would. But I am a little kind of excited as well as nervous to see how this team sort of ends up shaping up tomorrow, because we do like to read a lot into things, and we could end up, being a bit surprised, I imagine, by certain few inclusions, maybe certain people that might be playing in positions that we don't expect. And as well, who knows, certain players might end up being given, a second chance, third chance, fourth chance that maybe plenty of people like yourself, Dave, might not feel like that they deserve. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Ange Postecoglou kind of shakes things up tomorrow.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting. There was sort of two training teams today like they sort of played each other behind the closed doors. So we'll bring them to you in just a moment's time. And one of them looks like a very decent lineup, I must say, but the other one does not impress me whatsoever. But look, let's see who's in the stream. Let's see who we're welcoming in with us and joining us tonight. And then we'll crack on with some of the talking points. We have Vince Vega in the house, and he says, we might surprise a few next season. I really do hope so, my man. I really do hope so. Dermot Johnson's big up, guys. Spurs are back, baby. Feel like Christmas Eve. Can't wait to see the mighty Spurs back tomorrow. Exactly, my man. Exactly. It's exciting. Emmanuel says, big up, guys. Let's see how the team is setting in Ange's system. Yeah, look, it'd be very, very interesting. Look, there's going to be some what would you call sort of getting used to period over the next couple of games, but I would like to see some sort of implementation of the system. I think tactically we'll know a lot. I think that's what you could probably end up taking away from tomorrow, exactly what he's asking from each player in each position, which I think will be very interesting. Mark P says, big up, boys. Can't wait to see Ange, what Ange can do. I think we're all excited. Well, I mean, Mark P is saying all the right things, just little simple things like the 60 Minutes interview the other day. The journal goes, do Tottenham players work hard, or do they want to work hard? And Ange just started laughing and goes, well, there's no choice. I mean, I absolutely love it. When he talks about restoring the club back to where it once was, where we belong, up there challenging. I absolutely love everything that this guy is saying. However, I have been let down by us not getting the centre-backs in for the preseason. But that's where I'm at with it. Jack, I mean, he says he can't wait to see what Ange can do. Are you excited as well?
I am excited to see what Ange can do. I can kind of understand where he's coming from, where he did say that he sort of gives everybody, and I don't know if he used the words clean slate, but he basically just sort of says he sort of judges everybody the same at the very beginning. And then he quickly then sort of makes his decisions, from then on, whether they're going to have a short term, long term, or sort of kind of, at least average length, at future over at Spurs. And I kind of understood that approach. He's not being too harsh or, kind of assuming too much too quickly of players. But I think just knowing how much dead weight there really is at this team and how many players that we know need to go, it's obviously from sort of the maybe inside perspective of the fans, kind of a bit frustrating that, he isn't able to sort of clear out players straight away. But at the same time, the way he sort of explained it in the press conference, I can kind of see why he's sort of at least giving everybody maybe, I don't know, a few sort of, training sessions or so to see whether they can actually, prove their worth.
Yeah, fair point. Fair point. Tyler says, another day, another disappointment. Where aren't thou centre-backs? I mean, keep preaching, my man. I think it's actually a shame that we've gone on tour without the centre-backs. It's one of the first piece of business we should have done. We haven't learned our lessons, that it's absolutely fundamental. And look, I just think it would have been ideal to have it done. Let Ange Postecoglou work on that centre-back partnership. Let him work on that back four. And I do think it'll have a knock-on effect, because I think you're going to go into Premier League games and for the first few, there's going to be some teething problems, because they're still getting used to each other's game. They're still getting used to playing as a two, that centre-back partnership. So, look, Tom will tell. Tom will tell, Tyler. Big up Kate, she says, holy crap, studio full already. Yeah, absolutely full. We've already got a full back end, so we will be cracking on with it nice and early. Jason Bell also says, big up, lads. I already have my alarm set for tomorrow morning. Big up, Jason. I think we all do. Let's see who has their alarm set for the earliest. Put in the comment section, what time is your alarm set for tomorrow? Big up, Jason. We also have Adrian Straka. Good evening, all. Big up, Adrian. Big up, Liam as well. Great to see you in the building, my man. We also have Jim, Spurs till I die. Big up, Jim. We also have Raymond Burns. The excitement is real. We also have Iceman. Good evening, fellas. Looking forward to the preseason game tomorrow against West Ham. Got a good feeling about this upcoming season. Look, I'm getting excited, but also I just know our backline is not the best. And I know what it's produced over the last few years, and that hinders my excitement a little. But look, you know, they're out there at preseason. Hopefully they don't make them silly, stupid mistakes. Nick Carey says, give us a couple of defenders. And you know what? We are looking at a strong squad. That we are, my man. Tottenham LSG, zero expectations yet for this season. Absolutely pointless getting our hopes up with a defence that concedes relegation goals. Get the centre-backs in. I can understand that, my man. Big up. Jackson De Silva says, zero expectations, 6th to 10th place. Stephen, big up, says, nightmare that we still have the same players from last season. You think a change of goalkeeper in Madison will make a difference? You are cuckoo. We need help. Alpesh Patel says, good evening. We are Pigs Ears FC. Big up, DB, as well. Great to see you in the building. Hopefully your keeper. Adrian Straka says, Brian, the problem is that Bayern have yet to make an official bid. All we have is verbal rumours. Brian, I wonder if someone put in a members chat. We'll come back. We'll check that now in a second. Big up, big up, my man. Good to see you in the building. You are an elite member. Please get in contact with us for your very own Spurs story, my man. Simply just drop me an email. The link for the email is down below, brother. Pick yourself up as one of your elite membership perks this season. Level Art, big up, my man. Great to see you. We also have the one and only Olitron in the building. Big up, Ollie. Everyone check out Fan Football Fence as well. Great guy, great channel. Wayne Bonner says, good evening, Dave. Good afternoon, Jack. Hope you're all well. First time in a while since I've caught a live. That it is, Wayne. That it is. What do we, the privilege, my man. Pick yourself up, Wayne. Great to see you. It's because you're so excited for tomorrow. You just can't sleep, brother. Don't lie. We also have Danielle Azito. Good evening, centre-backs are taking along while it's starting to annoy me. I think we're all getting pissed off with it, if you want me to be brutally honest. I mean, look, it is what it is. I mean, are we surprised, really? No. Level Art says, we need centre-backs in Van de Ven, Tapsoba, hopefully. Davey Hall says, if Dyer and Sanchez still here, I am losing hope. Yep. Evan McCabe says, Kane to PSG, 6 million plus Xavi Simmons, get it done. Do you know what? On this one, just quickly, I don't want Xavi Simmons. We need, a ready-made player to come in here. Xavi Simmons is not the answer. Full of potential, don't get me wrong, but not the answer. Definitely not.
No, definitely not. I would take potentially, David and I discussed it briefly, but I would take like 70, 80 million plus like one of PSG's best players, like a Marquinhos or something like that. Then maybe, I'd consider it, to be fair, because you're already kind of, maybe getting, a ton of money for Kane, but then as well, kind of getting rid of that sort of that center back problem, or at least, approaching it right away. But no, definitely not Xavi Simmons.
Yeah, definitely not. Paul Brown, big up, my man. He says, evening, Dave, Jack. Many deluded Spurs fans, me included. Positivity all the way. Look, I've told everybody before, I'm a pathetic fan. New season, new beginnings, new excitement, and I'll believe all over again. You know what I'm like, Paul, my man. Look, I'm excited, brother. I get the centre-backs, and I know what's coming down the line if we don't upgrade. But it's not going to tamper my excitement tonight anyway, that's for sure. But great to see you in the building, Paulie. Big up, Chris, as well. Hopefully you're keeping well, dude. Great to see you in the building. We also have Wisdom Wolf, evening all. Big up, Wisdom. Then we have Moondoggy in the house. Moondoggy dog. He says, big up, Dave and Jack. I hope you're both well. Big up, Moondog. Hope you like my interpretation of Snoop Dogg, my man. Good to see you in the building. Big up the Moondog.
Big up, Moondog.
Who else do we have? We have Harnish. Big up, my man. Great to see you. Great to see you in the building. Also, we have DJ AK, even the boys got a good feel about Ange. It's about the club and not the manager's ego, i.e. the last two managers. Come on, you Spurs. What I liked about is, he's referenced our history. It hasn't been like the other managers when they come in. It's just been like, 21 years of this, 21 years of that, which we totally get. but they never really sort of wanted to accept the challenge, where Ange Postecoglou definitely does. But big up DJ AK. But look, I think we've got everybody. We've got Paddy Harnett in here as well. We've got Mark as well. Great to see you all in the building. And Drula coming in there as well. And Pat Whelan, great to see you, Pat. But Jacko, yeah, go on.
KPV celebrating 15 months as a fan show member. KPV says, big up, guys. Hope you're good. We are just getting started. Come on, you Spurs. KPV does not seem too worried about the transfer business or too worried about the center backs coming in. Maybe he's gotten some sort of clue or some sort of indication, Dave, that, that the problems will be resolved this summer. He's telling us to chill out. He's saying the business will be resolved. Big up, KPV. Thank you for your support, especially through the rough times throughout last season, my man. Brandon Troller celebrating 5 months. Big up, Brandon. And he says, I'd rather resign Toby Alderweireld and recall Ledley King to the first team than poison my eyes with another dire Davies Sanchez partnership at the back. Dave, if you were to call back any sort of legend, of the back line at Spurs right now, and you would be taking them at the age they are right now for these preseason games, would you call back a Michael Dawson? He looks like he's actually still in pretty good shape. Would you take a Ledley King?
I'd still take Ledley King, Jack. We just nurse him through, no training during the week, roll him out for match day, and he'll still produce better than what some of these guys are, and why not bring back Jan Vertonghen? We need someone on the left-hand side especially, absolutely Definitely. Brilliant. But big up, Brandon, I'm with you, my man. It just, like I said, it dampers the excitement, brother. But look, we have a few little talking points that we do want to sort of get to, and then we will start getting on the guests. And the first one is actually, and we'll just start with it while everyone's sort of talking about, Alistair's goal sort of suggested via Football London that Ange Postecoglou sort of brought all the players on squad on preseason tours so that the squad could get accustomed to his preferred style of play in case the club are not able to offload some of them, which is very, very interesting. It's something that me and you sort of predicted the other day, Jack. I feel like we are making the same mistakes. I've said this before. There has to come a point where you just have to just rip up their contracts or make it known to them that they're just not needed and get your guys in. However, what I will say is by everyone going on tour, last season when Antonio Conte bumped off the likes of Reguilon and Ndombele and that, right, we could not sell them. Clubs didn't come in with a fee because they knew they weren't wanted anyway. So that's why I think we ended up offloading a lot of them on sort of loan. So I think maybe the idea is that bring them all along, and hopefully we get some resale value, or that if clubs are interested, that has to be a cash price. However, I just fear we're making the same mistakes. At some point, we have to just start being a lot more proactive about shipping these guys out and getting new guys in.
I agree with a lot of what you just said, but instead of just sort of repeating it, I feel like if I were to in any way gauge what sort of Ali Gold was interpreting from the press conference and what he's gotten from sort of the interview with Postecoglou, is that potentially it's sort of this swim test, if you will, for a lot of the players. Like, I think Ange Postecoglou has brought along a lot of the big sort of high wage sort of first team players, and it's kind of just giving them this very quick and initial trial period to decide whether any of them are worth keeping long. And he did sort of say, like I brought up earlier, that he is sort of looking at a lot of them at face value. He's looking at whether they can survive this initial few weeks of, tough, I think, training, as well as, a kind of a tough sort of kind of technical challenge on sort of what they can do in a high possession based system, because there are a lot of players, I think, in this team that would struggle, playing this kind of highly technical type of football where you are expected to highly press, teams up the pitch, but also retain possession when you do win the ball back. And a lot of these guys, I don't think, are really built for this. So I guess he's just sort of doing a bit of a swim test, if you will, for a lot of them. And while they're sort of doing this swim test, he's teaching each and every one of them his own style of play and his own sort of methods and his, kind of tactics and instructions. And whichever ones, end up actually passing the test are the ones that pass the test, I guess. And there might be some, Dave, that sort of surprise us, like an Ndombele, or like maybe some others that end up, sort of surviving, these sort of initial trial periods with a Postecoglou. That's my guess. I agree with everything you said. But that's sort of how I'm interpreting, Alistair Gold's sort of quotes there.
I just think it's very I just don't think the club have been proactive enough, especially if the
Yeah.
centre back issue. On my opinion, like there's no point in persisting with guys and trying to get any better out of them when they haven't shown it over the last 3-4 years. They've had 3 different managers to do it now, going into a fourth. And for me, it's just sort of like, other areas with the likes of midfield, you can understand if you want to take a look at Ndombele and Lo Celso and stuff like that, to a certain degree, but. That back line, when everyone knows it's a problem, the club knows it's a problem, at some point they have to get it sorted out. Now, there are rumours that Ange Postecoglou wasn't too happy that there was no centre-backs going on the plane. We'll wait to remain to see how that sort of pans out. But Ange Postecoglou was also alluded to, not all them players are going to be here in his squad. So it's sort of like, is there murmurings that maybe he's getting unhappy already? Who knows? But it's just not a good look from a club, considering everyone in the world knows we need centre backs.
Yeah.
But look, that was interesting from Ali Gold. I just hope we're not making the same mistakes here. Now let's get into the squads that were put out there today for today's friendly. So in the bibs, you had Vicario, Porro at right back, Romero, Japhet Tanganga as centre backs with Reguilon at left back. Then you have Bissouma, Maddison and Ndombele in the midfield with Kulusevski, Kane and Son versus Austin, Emerson Royale, Sanchez, Davies, Udogie, Skip, Højbjerg, Devine, Solomon, Richarlison and Perisic with Lo Celso, Sarr, White and Rodon as subs. I mean, Jack, look, that first team that was put out there, which I'm going to label as a first team now, I think that's probably what Ange Postecoglou's preferred team maybe looks like. And I think it also gives us an indication of, with the likes of Lo Celso, maybe Sarr, White and Rodon as subs, does he see a future for them around here? Will the likes of White and Sarr be heading out on loan? And all the other players as backup, I mean, are sort of players that maybe there's been a few rumours around, bar maybe Udogie.
It's a very attacking 11 that he's gone with. He's gone with sort of both wing backs that we've questioned whether they're good enough for a back four, in the fullback positions with Udogie as well as Pedro Porro there. And also as well, you think Tanganga and Romero aren't exactly maybe the tallest of center backs, but maybe what they both have is that sort of recovery pace to be able to get back in case, there were a dangerous counterattack. And maybe when you compare at least Tanganga and Romero to some of the rest of the center backs, on the ball, they are sort of, some of the best. I think Romero is easily the best center back we have on the ball, but Tanganga is still younger. And I think at times he's shown that he can be okay and on the ball and has a lot of, improvement. But whereas the other ones, I would say, are sort of kind of, what they are. They're not going to really change from here. The midfield is interesting to see Ndombele, Maddison, and Bissouma. I think I'm not all that surprised to see Bissouma kind of in the number 6 position, considering really the only players that are there to compete with him, I think, in that position are sort of players like maybe Højbjerg, Skip, and they're sort of very different players, I think, to Bissouma. I think Bissouma is much better being able to break the press if he needs to. He's much sort of just more technically gifted on the ball, is also, I think, able to move it, I think, a bit quicker than sort of Højbjerg, as well as Skippy can. And I think it's not really much of a contest actually between him and them when it comes to the number 6 position. But it is actually interesting to see sort of Højbjerg and Skip also kind of left out of that, sort of first team, because if they are going to be competing with each other, I imagine they're going to be competing with each other for whatever position that, Bissouma is, taking up right now. So I don't know, Dave, there's a lot of kind of to draw from it. There's a lot to draw from it. The forward line, not much of a surprise. Not much of a surprise with the forward line.
No, not much of a surprise at all. I think you can definitely maybe take a lot from that. And then we've got other things that we can talk about if people want to maybe address them. You sort of got, with Hugo Lloris, club captain, being left at home, who would you want to captain this sort of tour? If it's not Harry Kane, does that give us an indication where maybe his future lies, that he could be out? You've also got Sonny confirmed his intention to stay at Tottenham, maybe a bit about how loyal he is, and can Harry Kane take a leaf out of Sonny's book in that regard? Ange Postecoglou constantly batting away the Kane questions. And also, any expectations from preseason tour? I get preseason tours about building up fitness, but I do want to see improvement from certain players if they're on that tour, i.e. Dyer, Sanchez, Davies, and all. I don't want to see them starting off by making mistakes, sloppy passes, because Last season, Dyer done it against Roma and went on to have an absolute shocking season. So I do want to see improvements in that regard, and I want to see a lot more enthusiasm for the game at Tottenham Hotspur. Not asking for much, to be honest with you, but that's what I am asking for. But look, we've got a couple of people welcome in. Big up Welsh Gal, big up Jazzy Jones. Great to see you two in the building. Hopefully you're keeping well. Pat Whelan says, hey boys, this manager's character is now ready to be assessed. Keeping Dyer and Davies are kept, and he's okay with it. We got a problem. Look, I keep saying this. Until you bring in centre-backs, he didn't have a decision to make. He can only bring what he's got to pick from at the end of the day. And that's
and
it.
He's not exactly giving them a vote of confidence either, verbatim saying, I have wanted to keep Dyer and Davies or anything like that. He even said, like you brought up earlier, Dave, he's sort of prepared to realize that a lot of these guys, most of them, in fact, he said, will not be here by the end of this sort of preseason. And so he was sort of quite ruthless when he did bring that up. So
for sure.
Pat.
Big up, Pat. Big up, Faz Rafar. Good to see you in the building, man. Hopefully you're looking forward to this season as well. And Dan Davenport, look, man, there's nothing we can do. The back end is full. So if anyone drops out, you will struggle to get back in. But just keep trying, Dan, once we get the guests on and that. But look, I think we'll start cracking into it, Jacko. There's plenty of people. The excitement is in the air. Plenty of people want to have their say. For you members, the link is up in the community section. We'll be running until 10 o'clock. We will be taking the link out at 9. So if you do have the link and you've saved it, make sure you get in from 9 p.m. onwards if you do want to wait a little while. Also, if you don't have a fan show membership, why not grab one? Your boys have completely redone the channel memberships. We will be hopefully dropping them Wednesday, maybe a little bit later if some complications come around, but plenty of stuff for you guys. And look, as we go on, feel free to keep engaging with us in the comment section. You know the deal. Your boys will keep bringing up the comments as much as we can. But if you really want to make it stand out or even just support everything we do here, feel free to get your thoughts in via Super Chat. It's a great way to support everything we do. We've got a big season ahead, a roller coaster ahead of us, and let's just all enjoy it together, baby. Let's go, Jacko. We start bringing on the guests.
Bring them in.
Let's get them on. Well, the first guest we've got to you today is Mia. And I was actually on her channel earlier on, sort of doing a bit of a preview.
Fresh of 800.
On the West Ham game. So make sure you get over there and check that out. But Mia, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you again, Dave. Obviously, only spent like a while ago that we spent time together. So it's always good to see you guys. And Jack, obviously, always lovely to see you.
Good to see you both in one piece and fresh off 800 as well, Mia.
Thank you.
Anything that you want to get us started off with that maybe, I don't know, that Dave and you didn't get to discuss or, maybe you feel like you still, have, on your mind?
Yeah, do you know what? Actually, I'm going to bring up something that you haven't actually mentioned. So there was that mural, wasn't there, on the mural? That's the word. On the wall. Now, I thought it was very interesting that it happened to be Richie and Sonny. Now, I don't want to read too much into stuff, but I thought that was quite an interesting one, seeing as a lot of people, obviously, Kane's our main man. You'd think that he would be the first person on people's minds if you're going to do something to do with Spurs. It would be Harry Kane. Now, would you guys read anything into that, or do you think that's just me being over analytical?
We read into the kits, to be fair, so we would be hypocrites to say that you can't read into that. I think to each his own when it comes to each sort of kind of tinfoil hat. But I don't even know if it's, to be fair, a tinfoil hat sort of thing. I think you're probably right. They might be going a bit safe about it, knowing that it could be there for a long time. It is a mural, it's probably going to take a long time to take down. So you wouldn't want Harry Kane to be in it and then have to immediately take it down. Dave, I mean, we read into all the kits and stuff. So is Mia right to look into it?
I think you could because, I fail to believe the club didn't have any say in it whatsoever, because usually if they go down and sort of give that artwork sort of a bit of time and everything else like they did, usually they have some sort of input in it. So it'd be interesting to see if that is the case. I know it was designed by a couple of locals. So, but, as Spurs fans, we read into anything. And there was rumors suggesting that maybe Tottenham bring Kane on pre-season tour. Then when we get back, maybe he leaves. So, I mean, and obviously the money hasn't come in, so you have to bring him as well. So, look, we don't know what his future holds. It's not clear whatsoever. Every day you're hearing new things like, Bayern's people came out yesterday and sort of, doubled down on their want for Harry Kane. And then today you see reports saying, well, Levy's now going to up the price yet again. And it's just like, it's absolutely crazy. In the morning time, he's over in Bayern Munich. By the evening time, he's back in Tottenham Hotspur. I'm just fed up with it at this point. But look, when you've got world-class players, this is what happens. But yeah, interesting. It'd be interesting to see, more of the content comes out if Harry Kane is not at the forefront of it.
How about we give you another thing to read into, Mia? This was the first 11 that we were kind of judging. Do you think it's crazy that we're already kind of looking at this as Postecoglou's preferred 11? Did you get a chance to see that or hear about that team, that scrimmage?
Yeah, no, I did see. I suppose you could see it as that way. Absolutely. You could think to yourself, in his mind, they're the players that he's got at the moment. But I'm sure that if we got other players in, he would consider them maybe first teamers, obviously depending on who comes in. So, yeah, I would say that he probably did choose those with first in mind, thinking they're the players that, maybe he's just more confident that they will play his way. Maybe that's more of it. Maybe it's more that he thinks, right, I think these guys are suitable with how I'd like to play, because the others maybe have been a bit slower with what he wants, because he's obviously keeping a very good eye on them when they are training. Who's quick, who's passing the ball, zipping it around quick, who's taking a few more minutes to kind of zip it, and thinking that, they're not got that quickness that he likes, or whatever attributes he likes for players to have. So for me, I wonder if he's just looking at what he thinks who have got the best attributes maybe for what he wants in a team.
Yeah.
And look, potentially if we're reading into it and that is the team that starts, or that's the team he has putting out in the second half, when you look at it, Ndombele is in a team surrounded by Harry Kane and Son. You'd like to think that is Postecoglou's preferred formation. With Ndombele, it's a big call to give the guy another chance. What does he have to do tomorrow in probably the 30 minutes or the 45 minutes that the guy's going to get? Because we will play a couple of teams out there tomorrow. What does he have to do to sort of impress you, to sort of show that, hang on, maybe this guy is for real this time?
I think it's the effort, Dave. I think he's just going to have to show that he's got that desire, that hunger to prove his point, because Postecoglou, as we know, has always been that person to want to prove his point, and he quite likes an underdog. So maybe he's thinking to himself, maybe that Ndombele is a little bit of an underdog because he's had such stick, and he wants him to come good. So it's now on the Ndombele's shoulders to prove that he can come good, that he's got that determination and he's got that strength of mind to overcome any other issues, and to sort of get himself driven and focused on what the task is. So I 100% want to see him give his all, and put in 100% effort. Like that, for me, that would be perfect. 100% effort, even if it is for only half an hour, I would be happy just to see him put in that effort.
Yeah,
because we know he's very talented. He's got a very good, low sense of gravity. He's literally press resistant because the way he can turn, the way he can also pass a ball. Didn't he? I think in the training game, didn't he assist? I think he assisted Kane, didn't he? I'm sure that I heard that. Yeah. So, it just shows you he's got the ability.
That's kind of what I bring up actually with Tanguy, because I think with everybody knows he has sort of the flicks and tricks, to get by his man. But I do feel like he has that sort of passing range that maybe sometimes gets a bit overshadowed, right, by all the flair and all sort of the, the magic of other things that he's able to do on the ball. Because that's what we've, at the end of the day, been kind of needing, is a guy that can be able to sort of break the lines all of a sudden with the pass, or be able to sort of play something a bit more, as we've kind of sometimes complained, something a bit more forward, something a bit more vertical, something that's actually towards the opposition goal, instead of just kind of constantly doing kind of the motions of passing it sideways. And I think people like Madison and Ndombele, like you maybe brought up earlier, are going to suit kind of Ange, or kind of impress Ange perhaps maybe right away, because the way they play is a bit more kind of progressive, or a bit more kind of positive, right?
For me, I think, I think the difference that Ndombele has than anybody else in our squad is actually taking players out of the game by just beating them, getting on the ball, beating players and taking them out of the game. And for me, if he can show the other side of the game, you know, the willingness to work, sort of go after the ball, but also get on the ball and be that maverick, take players out of the game. Because ultimately, in a day and age where everything's structured, when you take players out of the game and skin them the way that he has shown he can do, you create opportunities. You blow teams open. So, look, it's all on Ndombele's shoulders now. Now, I must stress, he did sort of come out. There was a knock he picked up in training today. So, and I think there are reports that maybe he sort of limped off towards the end of it. So let's wait and see what happens. But yeah, look, interesting times when it comes to Ndombele. Mia, what about the centre-backs? It's something absolutely everybody's talking about. It's on everyone's mind. Are you concerned that we didn't get the centre-back business done? Or are you sort of, look, let's just wait and see what happens?
Joe, what? I'm going to be concerned if we get to, I think, like, say next week and we still haven't got any. If we've got one, I think if it's not Longley, as long as it's not Longley, I think that will be, at least we're getting somewhere. I think I would start to get a little bit more concerned about it. And I know it is, everyone's saying, well, why shouldn't we have got it done? I get it. Yeah. Like, I completely understand. I'm not like completely delusional, and I understand it needs to be done. It's one of the most important places that we need to have replaced, and the fact that we're looking and been linked means that we obviously think so too, right? Like, obviously, I don't think that if they thought we were going to just rely on what we've got, I don't think they would even be in for these players. So logically, logic tells you that we obviously are looking because we do want them. Now, who we get is going to be the big deal, because I think if we get a Van de Ven and we get a Tosin, I think a lot of people probably wouldn't be that happy with that. Me, I would be okay with that. If we got a Tosin and a Van de Ven, although they're both young, and I would be worried about the lack of experience. We've been linked to so many others. Like, we've been linked to Nelson, now Joachim Anderson. Anderson? Yeah, we've been linked to him. I can't remember off the top of my head. We've been linked to so many. I feel like I just talk centre-backs all day. Yeah, I feel like I talk centre-backs all day, every day. Every video I do, I mention some different centre-back that we have been linked to somewhere along the line. So I do get that, obviously, the list is, like, obviously we have got this list of players we are getting, but I think it's important about who we get. And according to reports from what I've read, is that Van de Ven is someone that Ange really wants. Now, I'm wondering if we're trying to really go all out and try and get him, but are we? Because it seems like it's stalled. And if that's who he wants, I feel like, why are we stalling it? Because Liverpool are there in the background, and if they get some money in, they could go in for him. Even though they've said they've pulled out, there's still that link of they could come back in for him. And my worry is we're going to lose out on Van de Ven, and then we won't pay the money for Tapsoba, and then who we're going to get. I think that's, you know, there are other centre backs, but I think that them two were suitable, and I think they're two targets that we were looking at. Now, if we can pull both of them off, I swear it will be like a miracle to pull both of them off. I still am not confident. I haven't been confident all along that we're going to get both, because it was never said we were going to get both. It was always either or. So I don't think we're going to get both, if I'm completely honest. But yeah, obviously it is frustrating that he didn't take any with him. I'm not silly. Like, of course it is frustrating, but at the end of the day, I do think we will get them. I'm confident that we will get centre backs, but it's about who we're going to get. That's where obviously at the moment, I keep saying this, is our fan base at such a point that one little thing can tip them over the edge. And I feel like we're so like in that situation that one centre back that people are really outraged, or most of the people outraged by, is just going to tip the fan base right over the edge. And I think that that's going to be problematic, especially as well. We want a positive start for Ange, right? We want him to get players that he can work with, players that he wants. We want that, but I'm sure that he's not silly. He probably got more on the list that he likes, but I know that Van de Ven's one he really was looking at. So yeah, I'll be really disappointed if we don't get Van de Ven. I think that's the one I'll be disappointed about, because he can play in multiple positions. So he's also quite useful, because we can switch it up and play him on the left if we didn't want to play Destiny.
To be honest, look, I'll be happy if the club, if Fabrizio Romano tweeted Tottenham are set to announce Krusty the Clown and Ronald McDonald as your two centre backs. I'll be absolutely buzzing. I want to see change. But Look, I can actually understand the Tapsoba one taking time, right? You know, he's 3 years left on his contract. He's a really sort of, you know, there's a lot of interest around him around Europe. Many people predict him to go on to be a really world sort of class centre back. So I can understand setting out the fee, the structure of the fee, and everything else with someone like Tapsoba. But Van de Ven for me should be done. It's Wolfsburg. You go in, you pay the money, you take the player. And if they're like, for me, I feel like we're sort of to try and get maybe 5 million off. We're sitting there waiting for them to bring something in, and then we'll get ours in. When in reality, walk in, pay the money. We need them for preseason tour. Let's go. That's in an ideal world, Jacko.
No, I sort of see it the similar way in that I feel like Van de Ven is sort of a player that it's weird that maybe we're haggling over. I agree that you kind of have to have some sort of sympathy for the situation with Tapsoba, that he is one of the more sought after, talented center backs around his age group, and even from the Bundesliga in general. Whereas Van de Ven, like even Mia brought up, is a bit less experienced, very, very, very talented, but nowhere near as experienced as Tapsoba is, at least in the Bundesliga. He's only off of his first season even there at Wolfsburg. And so you have to kind of sort of maybe take with it, you know, a bit of risk. And that means then, though, it should be a bit easier, it feels like, to sort of bring him through. And it feels like for some reason, you know, the price of whatever it was, I think it was around 30 to 36 million or something like that, that Spurs were sort of 35 then, like Spurs were, I guess, you know, kind of haggling over. It does feel a bit odd that, you know, that's the signing that apparently, you know, we're spending, you know, more time over than we thought. Whereas Tapsoba, I agree with, maybe we would have a bit more sympathy for. And I agree with Mia, though. It has to really, though, still be a center back signing that a lot of the fan base needs to be convinced by, because let's say the first center back that comes through the door is like Longley or something like that, the fan base probably will be up in rage, and, you know, will be
oh gosh, they'll lose their minds. People are going to lose their minds, like, if that happens. And if they do that, then I don't know what this club are doing. Because sometimes, I said to you before, I'm like, I despair at what they do. Their PR, the way they do it, is just let me do it. Because honestly, I would have much better handle on where to, like, when you're watching things and people's reactions. If they then bring him in first, people are going to lose it, and that's going to be so negative and bad for the club. Negativity around Ange is not what you want. We started off positively. People are going to be willing to give them a little bit of like leeway. Okay, we've got Ange, you're giving him Maddison, you've bought him a goalkeeper. Okay, we've got Solomon, it's a free. People might say, oh, it's a freebie or whatever, but people were fairly okay about it. Then we've gone so quiet with the centre backs. If then you get Longley in, people are just going to, honestly, people are going to really lose it. And if they do that, more for them, because they will be so ridiculously like hard-headed and dumb to do that. They really would.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'd have to go over to Tottenham myself. Actually, I'd have to fly to Australia to go and have words with Levy and tell him to give his head a wobble.
Just quickly, last question, me. Just quick follow-up question. Are you concerned that like Daniel Levy and that are out on tour? I get why they're out there, right? 100%, I get it. But, you know, would you not be more confident that maybe if they were staying back at home, maybe working from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium or the training ground, trying to get signings over the line?
Do you know what? What I will say is that people saying that they don't want Daniel Levy interfering, but then people also saying they want him back there to interfere with transfers. So I feel like we can't really have it both ways. If you want him to interfere and be doing dealings, or you don't. Like,
do you want him on vacation in the Bahamas, or do you want him out in Germany? Yeah.
Yeah, do you know, like, I feel like that people are saying that. For me, honestly, I'm not really that bothered about if he's there or not. Like, it doesn't mean that transfers aren't getting done, because I feel like that we've got people back there that are doing, like, back home, that are doing the work and are in the background doing it. And like I say, people moaning or saying that they don't want Levy to interfere. So isn't that a good thing that he's not interfering if we are getting stuff done still? But we don't know if we are, obviously. But
recently he's been flying in, you know, for kind of the final, you know, shake of the hands, you know, I think for his own PR, you know, to make himself look a bit better, you know, with all the deals as well. So maybe we just have to wait till he eventually leaves Perth, because then we know maybe he's on his way for the big PR move to sign, you know, a center back.
He must have a Concorde.
He must, Joe, what he has. He's like a tapping merchant, isn't he? Because he just wants to be there for the smiles and the shaking of the hand, to be like, you know, I did it, guys, I done it. You know, that's what
politicians. They show up to your local shop, photo up with the owner and off they bounce again, and they'll never spend a penny in the shop. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and all the people they said hello to, they basically blatantly ignore after that, and they're like, "Ugh, get away from me," like little people.
Absolutely. Well, look, Nia, why don't you maybe tell people why they need to get over to your channel? Give yourself a little plug.
Yeah, if you obviously want to come over, Spurs Between the Lines, I do regular videos every day, pretty much doing the transfer news. I do videos, collaborations. I did one with Dave, like he said. I've done ones with Ashmatic. I've done ones with Flav. I'm going to do hopefully one very soon with Jack. So yeah, I like to get different opinions on. I like everybody to come on and have their opinions, as long as you keep it respectful. I don't take no nonsense when it comes to that. I don't like people being like, it's just not my thing. I like to just keep it calm in the chats and stuff when we're talking, and keeping opinions like level. And I do like I say, I like hearing everybody's opinions. I'm interested, and I'm always like interested to know what people are saying and their thought processes. So I like to have good conversations. I'm building up a nice lot of people who do come in, and everybody's super friendly and lovely in the chats when I am live, and I do my lives 3 times a week. So yeah, it's building up to be a nice bunch over there with me. I'm really like grateful as well to you guys. I already messaged you earlier and said I'm grateful to both of you, because I wouldn't have done this if it wasn't for you guys, because I wasn't confident about even coming on and talking, and now you can't shut me up, and I've even got my own channel where you can't shut me up. So
no, it's great to see. Recently, actually reached 800 subscribers today, so big congratulations there, Mia. And look, big season ahead of us. We'll let you get off, because I know you have to be over on Ollie's channel very, very shortly.
yes.
But I look forward to the upcoming season, Mia. I'm excited, and we'll speak soon.
Yes, definitely. We'll speak soon. Take care, guys.
Have a good one. Thanks for getting us started.
Thank you for getting us started. Everybody, that's Mia. Make sure you get over and check out Spurs Between the Lines. Great channel. I was on there today having a great conversation. So make sure you get over, check that out, and get your comments in the comment section. So big up, Mia. Really appreciate that, and do check it out. Go on, Jacko.
Great call from Mia, and everybody as well. Do check out her channel, fresh off 800. Jason Bell, though, a while ago sent in a member super chat, and he is celebrating 22 months. Big yourself up, Jason. And he says, I'm hoping to get a shock announcement that we signed 2 new center backs at halftime tomorrow. Not going to hold my breath, though. Jason, what I was actually holding my breath for a second was that, considering it's such a long flight from Australia, maybe we were going to pick up one of our center backs along the way, sort of kind of save the jet fuel, maybe pick up Van de Ven in Frankfurt, or maybe, who knows, somebody was sort of vacationing, maybe out, in Dubai. We picked them up over there, on our way over. It felt like that could have been done, but I guess there was no layover at all planned to pick up a center back along the way. And yeah, we're center back lists. And in a way, we kind of made a bit of a downgrade, because we originally technically did have Longley, and we've replaced Longley with Joe Rodon instead on the transfer front. So we'll see how this goes.
Jason, I think you've more chance of seeing ABBA performing the greatest hits, to be honest with you, than seeing 2 new centre backs signing tomorrow, my man. So do not hold out for that. But look, the club still have time to get it done. I just personally think, and I think many think, it's a missed opportunity. But big up, Jason Bell. Hopefully you're keeping well. I'm looking forward to engaging with you throughout the season, my man. Big yourself up. Big up, King Hot. Great to see you in. He says, hey, pal, what is Andrew's first choice back 4? I think we've seen it today. Pedro Porro, Romero, Tanganga, and Reguilon. I hope it is. I really do hope it is. I'll be honest, big grumpy sort of the last few days with Tottenham no centre-backs. But when I seen that, it really rightfully cheered me up. I did put out a video a few weeks ago, actually, about Japhet Tanganga potentially getting this opportunity. And I hope he does take it. For me, it's all about him just staying injury-free. And I hope he takes it, because I do not want to see Dyer, Davies, or Sanchez, or even Robin for that matter. Even though he's been all out, he's just not good enough. I don't want to see any of them, so I really do hope that is our starting back 4 tomorrow. But big up, King Huddle. Great to see you in the building. We also have the Outlad. He says, lads, we have to get rid of players before we buy, unfortunately. Højbjerg, Sanchez, and Lascelles, so look like they are on their way. Do you know what? I get it, but I hear this every single bloody window, and I'm actually just bored of it. It's like I'm at the point, just bring the players in. and just tell them, look, guys, I mean, when you look around here, there's 10 players in your position that are better than you. I think it's time. The problem we've got is that they're on colossal wages, and when we're finding it hard to offload them, and that's our problem, because wherever they go, they ain't getting paid that money, and that's why they're not in a rush to go anywhere. And then their performances don't match up either. Well, actually, they do. They match up that they're here for the paycheck. However, it's absolutely annoying, and I just don't buy it anymore. It's sort of like, if you got to, rip up contracts. I do not care. Rip them up. But big up that. Good to see you. And hopefully we get that win tomorrow. I'll be sitting here maybe 2:00 tomorrow with the bubbles, blowing them in the air and bursting them with venom. Cannot wait. Venom Vicario, that is. Big up that. We also have Nick Coyce, Hardy, man. Great to see you in the building, my man. We also have Terry Wright, says the Gooners signed Timbers and they really didn't need him. They're going to be a force next season. Do you know what? That's the thing. Rice, Havertz, they're going for it. Even though they don't need, you'd argue they needed Rice, but the others they didn't need, but they're going for it. They understand the importance of strength in depth. And that's ultimately what killed them last season. A couple of injuries. They didn't have the same sort of, or any players of quality really, to come in and back that up. And that's ultimately what killed them. And, this is what we should be doing. This, in my opinion, this is what we should be doing. This is what I've asked for. Just sort it out. It's sad, really. It's sad. Their season, the moment, and we're sitting here pissing about playing tiddlywinks. Then we've got Kev Williams as well. Big up, my man. Great to see you in the building. And also Graham, sir. Good to see you, my man. Great to see you. I bet you're looking forward to the West Ham game tomorrow, my man. Big up. But look, I think we'll keep this moving. And with the next guest, where is he? Where is he? It's been waiting for this guy to return. It's been quite some time. It's the one and only. It's the Godfather. Get the team tune on. Here we go, Mr. Brady. How you keeping, my man?
Yeah, I'm all right, Dave. Jack, yeah. Looking forward to tomorrow. I'm putting West Ham in their place again.
I've missed you, Philip. I've missed you. I love it. You get the rivalry, you just want to beat them at all costs. I absolutely love it. What are you expecting to see from Tottenham tomorrow? Do you think that team we've seen in the training with the bibs on, do you think that's the starting lineup tomorrow?
Yeah, it could be. Although what I'm seeing tomorrow is the fact this is the first opportunity Ange has had to see the team in action, right? So I think there's a blank canvas tomorrow, right? And it's up to the players that we don't necessarily want at the club. If they impress him, I think, reluctantly I'm saying this, it's very, very possible that one or two of them will still be there, or more of them, because they know they're playing for their futures under a new manager. So they could pleasantly surprise us. And Ndombele being one of them, right? And I'm actually thinking Ndombele could be a revelation this season.
My dad's going to go mad. He's going to turn it off now if you keep talking about Ndombele.
Well, no, I'm only saying, he's had so many chances. Like if he was a cat, he's on his 9th life, really, And it's up to him to get his finger out, start running around the pitch. I guarantee you, if he stops still for 30 seconds tomorrow, Ange will haul him off. He's got to keep moving. He's got to keep moving, like this new scheme that we're going to be playing. So, yes, it's a blank canvas for the team. I don't think that team is too far what's going to be the first half, but you can guarantee to be a completely new side in the second half. So, tomorrow, really, the result of the match is immaterial, although we don't want to travel the whole way to Perth and get beaten by the Bubble Boys. But I think it's the performance. It's the performance of the players is more important.
That's what I was going to ask you, though. That's what I was going to ask you, though, Philip. I feel like, most of the time we sort of say, with expectations pre-season, it's more about kind of getting back in shape and understanding a new system. I'm kind of all for that, except maybe this match. Would you agree? Like, it's kind of more about getting off on a win here, maybe, and kind of starting off on the right foot against West Ham? Or do you really not read too much into it?
No, it's probably a pity that we have to travel the whole way around the other side of the world and end up playing our near neighbours. It could have been better if we were playing Juventus or Real Madrid or someone like that, But let's face it, we don't want to go back with egg on our face. If the Spammers beat us tomorrow, they'll be living off that for the rest of the season, even though it's only a friendly match. So, it's better to go and just put them in their place tomorrow like we always do. And nearly always do. But yeah, it's I was watching Ange's press conference today. I love the way he handles the questions. Especially the Harry Kane one. Oh, that's the first question. He was having a bet the other day as to what number the question would be about Harry Kane. So he's a hard-nosed Australian. He'll take no shit from any of these players tomorrow. Those guys, if you're not in it, you're out of it, and that's basically what's going to be. Now, I know the centre-back thing is annoying, but I have absolute confidence we'll have at least 2 centre-backs in before the end of the transfer window. In fact, before we play a match in the Premiership. And I don't think one of them is going to be Longley either. I think it's going to be... I'm hearing this Anderson fella from Palace is on the radar again.
Okay.
It'd be interesting to see if we pay the money for him. I don't.
But he's 50 million. So let's face it. But the thing about it is, you could pay 50 million for a player with Premier League experience, or pay 35 million for a player who's never played in the Premier League and only has 1 season really behind him. So it's a kind of a balancing act, you know. Although I've no doubt Levy will take the cheaper option if he can. You know, he always does.
I like Joachim Anderson. I think he's good on the ball. You know, that first season he had with Fulham was exceptional, and I think he's Palace's best defender. If you want me to be brutally honest, I wouldn't mind him coming, but it's not what we were led to believe with Van de Ven and Tapsoba. But Philip,
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Regardless if we bring them in, you know, later on in the window, is it an opportunity missed, and will it have a knock-on effect?
I honestly think, the first couple of weeks of the transfer window, we were pinching ourselves. We got our goalkeeper, we got Madison, we got Kulu and Porro signed permanently, and we think, hang on, here we go. I honestly think they've been trying to get the centre backs in. Now, whatever is going on, whether they don't want to overpay, whether Wolfsburg put the price up and Levy doesn't value the player with that new price, I don't know what's going on. But all I will say is Ange Postecoglou, without seeing the team play, knows a centre-backs are a weak position. And you can be bloody sure they're top of the shopping list for him. And that's why I'm so confident we'll get them, because he'll have told Levy, you know, I need centre-backs. Don't come back to me on the 12th of August or whenever it is, that we haven't replaced Dyer or we haven't replaced Sanchez. I'm just hoping it's Van de Ven and Tapsoba, but I have a feeling it might be one of them plus another that hasn't really cropped up yet. It could be just one of these out of the blue ones that we never even heard of.
Are you pleased to see Tanganga potentially in that quote unquote starting 11, you know, next to Romero?
Yeah, well, I mean, Tanganga's the lesser of 3 evils, really, isn't he? When you think about it. You're classing Dyer and Sanchez as the other 2. So, you know, he's probably made less mistakes than they have. So let's give him a chance. He's a homegrown lad, you know. He knows his future's at stake, so he'll be wanting to perform tomorrow.
Sure.
I can't wait to see him in action, to be honest with you. It'd be really interesting to see, because last season he relatively stayed injury-free, so it'll be interesting to see what sort of Tanganga we get. Jack, anything you want to ask?
If Kane isn't really chosen as captain tomorrow, Philip, would that tell you anything, indicate anything to you?
I had a big argument with Dermot about this on our own channel about this. We nearly fell out over it. I am of the opinion that as long as Harry Kane is at the club, he has to be captain. That's my opinion of him, right? But if tomorrow it turns out he doesn't walk out with that captain's armband, he might as well have a Bayern Munich shirt on him.
Yeah. I kind of sort of feel that way too.
Yeah, I've got this feeling that there's too much, like this thing about Uli Hoeneß shouting his mouth off and getting supposedly getting the rap on the knuckles from the Bayern Munich directors about it. You know, that's only bullshit. They're delighted what he said, because it's even though they've been tapping up the player, which is totally illegal. But who's going to bring them to task over it? Nobody. They'll get away with it. And if they offer the money that Levy has set a price on for Harry Kane, he will accept it, and Harry Kane will be gone. And I say that with the greatest of sadness, but I just don't think there's any way we can hold on to him if he hasn't already signed that new contract that's in front of him.
Is there any indication with Sonny, though, being next to Ange Postecoglou for the press conference, that it could be Sonny wearing the armband?
It could well be. Sonny has come out and said, I don't want to go to Saudi Arabia. If I wanted to be there, I'd be there. I'm not. I'm here. I want to prove it. I had a bad season last season. I want to show you what I can do this season. So it's absolutely very positive. If I see Sonny with the band on tomorrow, then Harry Kane is off.
I agree. I think that would probably give us all the indications that we need, to be honest with you, because we were told when Tottenham were offering Harry Kane this 400k a week contract that also he'd be told he's the face of Tottenham Hotspur, that he will be made club captain and stuff like that. So if he's not captain, it'd be very interesting to see, you know, what sort of goes on from there. However, I get Tottenham do it, right? And I know this is going to suit my narrative, and I enjoy when Tottenham do it. But if I was Daniel Levy, I'll be reporting Bayern Munich to UEFA just to maybe warn them off a little bit, just to delay them, and hopefully get out the other side of the window. Philip, is there any sort of world where Harry Kane does a U-turn and signs this new contract?
I don't know. All the indications are, like, if it's in front of him now for a couple of weeks, he could have signed. He could have put us all out of our misery and signed it, and we'll all be hallelujah, right? He's not. I don't think so. And I also think, regarding Levy reporting UEFA, what I would do if I was Daniel Levy, I'd take Bayern to Munich, transfer the player, and then report them to UEFA.
Yeah. Get them fined.
Get
put
them
them in a position where they can't pay the fine.
I think there's something about tapping up players. Finding clubs like Bayern Munich forget about it. It doesn't mean anything to them. You either want to dock them points or ban them from playing in Europe. That's where it's really going to hit them in the pocket. And but they won't. They'll get away with it like all big clubs do. It's just, it goes on, and it always will go on until somebody puts a stop to it. And I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Absolutely spot on. And look, Philip, we'll ask you pick your brains on another final question here. You heard me maybe talk about Alistair Gold's suggestion that we bought the clubs, all the players on pre-season tour, so that we can sort of put them in the shop window, but also they can get up to Andrew's speed just in case we don't offload them. Are we making the same mistakes again?
No, I go back to the fact that this is his first match he'll have seen them play tomorrow. He's like, some of the players only came back last week. He's barely got to know them. So I think it's perfectly right to bring all the players on the tour. It's a blank canvas, as I said at the start there. There are players on that are players that we expect maybe to impress him are not going to impress him, and vice versa. Players that we hope are going to be out of the club are going to be there because he likes what he says or likes what he sees. So that's why I think it's this new start for all of them. Tomorrow is the first day of the rest of their lives, and some of them might find them no pay packet coming in from Tottenham very quickly. And we all know who we want them to be. But I have a feeling there's a surprise or two in store there.
Do you feel like there's certain players...
last year. Sorry, Jack. Sorry.
No, I was just going to ask quickly, Philip, as a follow-up. Do you feel like there's certain players, Philip, that are sort of making it difficult on Levy and Postecoglou in terms of, getting rid of them? Like, I feel like Sanchez, by the looks of things, has had 2 or 3 different offers, from Galatasaray, I think another kind of Turkish club, and then as well a club over in Russia. And yet he's still kind of on the plane and has traveled. Do you think maybe, although Ange has brought pretty much everybody with him, maybe certain players haven't made it easy to go? Even Eric Dyer said, right, I have no intention on leaving. I want to prove myself to the next manager. So it could be the case that a lot of players have just made it harder on us than we needed it.
But they have, yeah. They have. I think Sanchez's case, I think he'd be very foolish to go to Russia with the present circumstances there. I can see him ending up at PSV or maybe at Galatasaray in the make weight for Nelson, whatever you call him. So, but no, there will be players that at the end of maybe halfway through August, they'll be told that find new clubs, or else we want to mutually, if you agree to it, cancel your contract and you go off as a free agent and find your own club. I think that's the way with some of the players. We did it with Serge Aurier and did it with Matt Doherty. So the precedent has been set recently. Now, of course, cancelling a contract is a mutual thing. Both sides have to agree to it. But then again, if you get a guy that's told that we don't want him anymore there and he refuses to cancel his contract, well, he's never going to play for the first team again, I don't think. So he's as well to move on somewhere else and take his chances. But as you said earlier, Dave, the wages some of these guys are on far exceed their abilities.
Yeah. I'd say it's been the biggest problem with them. But look, Philip, why don't you tell people where they can find you? But also, I've missed you coming on these fan shows. Where have you been? I want to see you on more of these fan shows throughout the season. And also, maybe just give a little message to Spurs fans, of what to sort of expect, or, the preseason, or the upcoming season.
Yeah, well, no, I apologize. I know I'm involved with the THFC till I die with Dermot, and that takes up some of my time, but I'm actually still working, and I've been very busy at work. I have a lot of stuff on. And plus, I'm playing in the band. I'm playing in the band as well. So I have a lot going at the minute. Commitments, yeah. And plus, the wife gets a bit annoyed too when I have too many other things on. No, the THFC till I die we're debuting. I know we're going against you tomorrow, guys. We're doing a watch along with the West Ham game, but we're debuting our new scoreboard. So that's the big thing. I haven't even seen it properly yet, but I believe it's great.
It's looking good.
It's looking good. Now, as regards Spurs fans, listen, lads, I'm supporting Spurs probably longer than most of you in here, right? I've seen the ups and downs. I've seen relegation. I've seen cup wins. I've seen promotion. I've seen chairman come and go. I've seen good chairman. I've seen bad chairman. I've seen Daniel Levy, right? I have got more optimism about this coming season than I've had in a long, long time. And that includes under Conte and Mourinho. Because I want to see my Spurs playing the type of football we played in the 80s and the 90s and under Pochettino. And I have a feeling we've got the right guy in that's going to do that. Now, it's up to the players to buy into that style of football. I think they will, because I think the rest of them, they were totally fed up like the rest of us under the Conte way of doing things. So I think they'll see it as a breath of fresh air tomorrow. And I can say that Tottenham are going to be a force to be reckoned with this season. Where we finish, God knows. But I'll tell you one thing, it's going to be fun.
That it is another roller coaster of emotions this season, Philip. Again, looking forward to enjoying the roller coaster of a season ahead with you, my man. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. There'll be ups and downs, lads, but the downs will be gone quickly, and the ups will come soon after that.
I really hope so. I can't take too many more downs with this club at the moment, my man. Big up, Philip. Thank you for coming on.
Okay, lads.
On everyone's faces.
Come on, you Spurs.
Soon, my man. Big
See you
up,
soon, Philip.
All the best. Bye-bye.
Oh, Jacko, it's great to have the Godfather back, right?
The Godfather spoke a lot of sense, I think, especially towards the end there. And I was actually, happy to see that him and Dermot had a similar conversation to what we were sort of thinking too, Dave, about, sort of the captaincy for tomorrow. Can you get a bit ahead of yourself and start to think that maybe Harry Kane's future has been sort of written if it's not really him wearing the armband tomorrow. So looking forward to that. Yeah. Big up.
No, quality. Big up, Philip. And also do get over and check out THFC. Till I Die, 4 great people over there, doing the content over there. So get over there and check it out. Phil Coy says Harry Kane ain't going to come out either way about his future. He don't want to damage his reputation. Look, last time he did against, with the Man City moving, it didn't happen. Sort of backfired. Look, I can understand it. But also, as fans, we just want them to declare their love for the club, I suppose. Paddy Harnett makes a good point here. Kane right now does not deserve to be captain. Why give him the armband when he won't sign a new contract? That sends out a bad message to the rest of the squad. So give it to Sonny. And look, that's probably perhaps why he was in the press conference, Jacko, like you sort of alluded to. And Graham says Kane is staying. He's just bought a new house in Wentworth in Surrey. Yeah, the retirement home right beside the golf course, 10 minutes away from Cobham as well, which is Chelsea's training ground. So, but look, it'd be interesting to see what happens. Graham, look, if PSG come in, I think he can make that work because he can get the Eurotunnel or whatever it is, over and back. So, might not be as much of a stretch for him. I don't want to give him any ideas. So, if Harry Kane's representatives are watching, please plug your ears. Hotspur J, big up, my man. He says, come on, guys. In and we trust. Great to see you back in the building. And also the one and only Hennessy as well. Okay. And then King Huddle, what's he waffling on about here? He says, Dave saw Kane going to Crow Park to do a bit of hurling. Oh, lad, absolutely brilliant. I watched all 4 episodes. It's quality. If anyone hasn't, please watch the overlap on tour. Absolutely brilliant. Roy Keane is class. Hurling is the fastest sport in the world. But funny enough, actually only had this conversation with Jack actually there the other day, about hurling. It's absolutely tricky, my man. It's very, very difficult. Very difficult. I don't like it because, when I was younger, I used to pick up a slitter and a hurl and play it. As soon as you'd hit it, it'd send vibrations up your arms. And I was like, don't really fancy sort of Alzheimer's or anything like that by the time I'm 30. So, or bone problems or anything like that. So I'll just stick to the football and get crushed and crush people. Yeah. That's what I love. But big up King Huddle, my man. Good to see you in the building. But look, we're going to crack on, keep this going on. We've got plenty of guests to get to. Please, guys, if you are enjoying this fan show, which I know you bloody are, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button if you are new. But also, get your super chats in with your thoughts. You guys are not showing us enough excitement for tomorrow. Come on, guys. And also, keep getting your comments in the chat. I want to see a load of coys just to give a bit of Spurs loving. Why not? But let's keep this moving. Who we got next? Where is he? Where's Dermot?
Brad Matthews.
Dermotron is gone. So we are on to the one and only Brad Matthews. Let's get him on and hear what he has to say. Big up, Brad. How are you keeping, my man?
Gentlemen, good. A week at work and, back in the swing and being knackered like I used to be when I used to work. So,
well, Brad, any place that you want to get started on today when it comes to the preseason tour? You know, we've speculated about what the first team is. Do you want to start there? Because are we getting a bit ahead of ourselves?
Yeah, I think we are. The only thing when I saw the as I understand it, Postecoglou plays with the number 6 and like 2 number 8s,
right?
Or number 8 and a number 10. And if you looked at the way it was in that first team, what I found was interesting was that he had Basuma as the number 6, which I think at the moment is the accepted player that's going to be there. Yeah. But he had Madison and Non-Lombele in those sort of number 8 stroke number 10 roles. I thought that was interesting if that's what they're going to do. But no, look, this is a training game. He's got to give everyone a kick. You know, I don't think we can read much into it. Like tomorrow when we play West Ham, he's probably likely to see one team in one half and a new team in the second half. So I don't think we can read a lot into it.
But Brad, there is a lot of players there, and everyone has one sneaky little player that they want to come good this preseason. Who's yours? Everyone has one. Everyone has
one. I would love to see, and I don't think he's going to. I don't think he's going to be in the team. I'd love to see Non-Lombele be an absolute star. I really would. Okay. He was, 2 years ago when he sort of trundled off. That was not good, and he deserved all the flack he got for that. But yeah, I'd love to see him do well. Can't think of anyone else really, because most of the players that we come back on loan, I think we should try and get rid of.
What did you make of the wingbacks kind of being played as sort of more fullbacks? Because there's been question marks over whether Udoji can even play as a fullback. Pedro Porro definitely under last season showed that he's not maybe ready to play in a back 4 yet. What did you make of that?
He plays inverted fullbacks, doesn't he?
Yeah,
it's very similar to Man City. So I can't imagine Porro in an inverted fullback position. I can see Porro playing up front on the right hand side of an attack. I can see that happening. But look, he's had them for training for 2 weeks. He's the first teamers back for 1 week. He's going to try lots of things during this tour. He's going to try them in training. He's going to try them in the games. So I don't think, we just got to see what happens. He was totally honest in the press conference. He said, I want to see all these players. And when they asked him about it being a big squad, he said, but he said, don't think that it's going to end that way. There will be players that don't make it. That's going to happen. So
does that not sound though, Brad, that he's maybe towing the club's narrative or the club's line? Because if I was Ange Postecoglou, I wouldn't have wanted to bring everyone on tour. I would have wanted some more of my business done by now. So do you not think that maybe he has to say that because it hasn't been done? Because even after the press turned around and said, "Are you going to sign any more goalkeepers?" I mean, whoever asked that question when we all want centre backs should actually get a red card and sent out the press conference room, to be honest with you. But do you not think that man has to say something like that, though, Brad?
Look, I know as much about him as we all do. With I've seen all the documentaries and all that sort of stuff. What I do find interesting was he got criticism when he was with the Australian youth team because he wanted to bring through young players and they wanted to have established players. So he got into a big argument with that. He got into a big argument with the Australian Football Federation. And that's why I could be wrong here. That's why I don't think he made it to the world. I think he was in charge. I think he got Australia qualifying for the World Cup, and then quit because he didn't. He had a disagreement with the Australian Football Federation. So I think none of us really know what goes on behind the scenes. But I think he's his own man, and he keeps on bringing out the line. We do it my way. It's my way, my way, my way. So he's just seeing these players. He's seeing the players can play in his way, and if they can't, they'll be out. I mean, let's face it. We had the scenario with Pochettino, didn't we? It took him a couple of seasons to get rid of the players that wouldn't fit in with his system. So we could be experiencing the same thing. Hopefully not with the centre backs because that is a worry. But I'm trying not to get too worried because we've still got 4 weeks to the season starts. We've got 6-7 weeks for the end of the transfer window. I know it's not ideal. I know it's always Tottenham do it always the same way.
Yeah,
but I'm not panicking just yet because I think this season will be ups and downs. And like what Philip was saying, it's going to be ups and downs. We're going to have some really, really good games, some really good results. We probably have some really poor results as well. So
yeah,
it's all part of this process, and it's happened with every club he's played for, he's managed. They've all started slowly and got going again. So, yeah,
are you confident that he kind of I don't know if he calls himself this, but he seems to kind of think of himself as a bit of a rebuild specialist, or that he seems to be comfortable in the rebuild, and that he said he never really wants to take over for a club that sort of is in a great position. He said it's not really attractive to him. So it sounds like he'll never go to Real Madrid or anything like that, which is a good sign. So what do you think?
I mean, we only have to look at Brisbane Roar, Melbourne, South Melbourne Hellas, Yokohama. They all won titles when they'd never won titles, or had been such a long time before winning titles. Yeah, okay, they're different leagues. There's different leagues. He goes to Scotland. He goes to Celtic. Where he made a really good comment the other week, didn't he, on the press conference, where he said that coming second in Scotland is coming last. So
that's
with Celtic. So he took Celtic and won 5 out of 6 trophies with them. In 2 seasons. So they were sort of, by their standards, in the doldrums. So yeah, he seems to be very good at that, and it is a rebuild here. We've got to get these guys deprogrammed from playing the defensive football we've been playing for the last 3 seasons. So I just hope the fans are patient. I just hope the board, more importantly, is patient, because let's face it. I mean, okay, it was totally different football under Nuno, but Nuno didn't last long when the results started going bad, did they? So, but the only thing against that is the fact that if we're playing good football, hopefully the fans will be behind him as well, because I think the fans had a lot to do with Nuno going as well. So,
So it was a bit like Pochettino, wasn't it? Sort of, fans could sort of see what he was trying to implement at the time with a lot of players that didn't really suit his system, and it sort of grew from there. I can understand it. I would like us just to be a bit more proactive to help Ange, because I feel if we don't do the right business at the right time in the right areas, we might miss a number 1 target. But then that has a knock-on effect of the product that's on the pitch and what Ange can do with the players coming in the door. So as much as Ange has his style, his philosophy, and everything has to implement it, he does need that help from the board in terms of the players to be able to implement it, just like Pochettino did.
Yeah, I think it's. I do get annoyed. Look, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes with these centre backs, but if it is a situation where, we want to get money off, 5 million here and 5 million there, well, then we've seen that before. We've missed out on players before, and if that is the instance, that is very, very disappointing. And I will begin to get. Well, I will get angry then, like everybody else. But at the moment, life's full of anxieties. I spend my whole life anxious about various things. So it's like, I don't want to be anxious about Tottenham at the moment. It's Preseason.
Especially with a new job, Brad. Yeah, you're less occupied with thinking
about. So I'm. Look, I would love to see 2 centre backs come in. At the moment, they're not there. Hopefully, they will be there. And what you're saying about picking them up on the way to Australia, well, if it is, it could be picking them up on the way home from Australia or wherever we are, wherever we finish the tour. I'm just upset that I actually won't be able to see the game tomorrow because it's 11 o'clock kickoff UK time. So I'm not sure what I'll do. I might, just
lunch
stay
time,
out of everything.
lunch break, headache, maybe. I mean, there's plenty of things we can do for you, Brad. I mean, we can ring in, we can give you a sick note, whatever you need, Brad.
Well, the irony is, if I was at my old job, it wouldn't be a problem. I'd say, right, I'm going to have an hour and a half off for football. It wouldn't be a problem, but with my new job, it's I can't really do that. But what I can do, I've got Spurs play, so I might basically just stay out of social media and watch it when I come home. If that's the case, I'm not sure whether they'll say, "Watch our brilliant victory on Spurs play" or something like that. But even if I know the score, I'll be very interested to watch the game. So to see how we play, how we set up, that sort of thing. Which, let's face it, that's exciting. That's exciting for me. Yeah. I had the same exciting before last season, but unfortunately it didn't turn out well. But it's I do every time I've seen Postecoglou. I've only seen half of today's press conference. I watched the other half after the show, but I just think he's brilliant. And just the way he handles the questions, he's just very, very down to earth. And he wants to do things his way, and I think that
he brings that.
Matt.
I think I'm having problems again. I'll reload my computer.
Oh, all right.
I was going to ask you another question though, Brad.
Yeah, go for
it. Like, maybe I'll give you one more, bit of anxiety for tomorrow for you to take to work with you. Harry Kane, if he's not wearing the captain's armband for tomorrow, does that tell you anything? Like, and also Sonny being there for the press conference next to Ange Postecoglou, are you going to read into that, or are you also going to kind of just sort of stay away?
Well, there's a way of you know what? Let's look at it this way. If with all the questions they were asking Postecoglou about Kane, can you imagine what that press conference would have been like if they've had Harry Kane there? Can you imagine? It would have been not only
you would have forgotten Ange was even there.
Kane, they got Harry Kane to talk about Harry Kane. And after Harry Kane, who is the most high profile player at Tottenham? Heung-min Son. So I don't read anything in that whatsoever. If he comes out with the captain's armband tomorrow and Kane's playing, then that would be a concern, because I think if you were picking your captain, you would think, well, actually, Harry Kane captains England. Well, he's going to be captain of this club. So, yeah, but I certainly think, I don't know if you heard that, David, I think at the press conference, if they'd have had Harry Kane there, it would have been a disaster. It would have been every single question would have been about Harry Kane. So I think that's why Sonny was there and Harry Kane wasn't. So yeah. So as for the Germans, I said this on Saturday night on Kuvan again. I think all this stuff about Harry wants to come to us and blah blah blah, I think that's a load of bollocks. I really do. I don't think it's true at all. I think Harry Kane is the sort of person that he'll literally see what happens.
Keep his cards close to his chest, kind of guy.
Yeah, and he'll wait and he's got the new manager now, and he'll see what happens, how we play, and that sort of thing. And if you're looking at it, if you're Harry Kane, he only has to wait 6 months, doesn't he? And then he's got the choice: signing a new contract or going into negotiations with anyone else that wants him. The only thing that worries me about the Harry Kane situation is something that's totally out of Harry Kane's control, is that if they do put a bit of money in, because remember Daniel Levy said that he would never let a Sol Campbell situation happen again. And he might think, oh, that's going to happen again. And he might accept an offer based on that. Again, Harry Kane could say, nah, sorry, I'm staying here.
The thing is with the English clubs, though, Brad, they can't actually open communication with Harry Kane until the summer. It's only actually European clubs that can communicate with Harry Kane in the January window. So, there's a good opportunity that one of the European clubs, and you would bet your bottom dollar that Madrid, Bayern Munich, PSG, probably Barcelona, they'll all sort of be in off from contracts. So I don't think any of the English clubs will get a sniff unless, that brat Charlie of his has gone around sort of making promises that he can't keep. But look, very interesting. I think you make a great point on, Harry Kane maybe not being in the press conference because of all the questions that he probably gets around his future. Because you're right. Ange wouldn't get one question, but all straight to Harry Kane. Are you staying? Are you staying? And then reword the question 25 different times. It's an absolute joke. But Brad, what do you make of where am I? What do you make of the teams in training that were put out there today? So you had the first team of Vicario, Porro, Romero, Tanganga, Reguilon, Basuma, Madison, Ndombele, Kulusevski, Kane, Son versus Austin, Royale, Sanchez, Davies, Adoji, Skip, Højbjerg, Devine.
I think we might have talked about.
Was you there? Well, you might have been reloading.
Might have been.
No, well, I just think I think one, I don't read anything into it. The only thing I found interesting was the fact that he had Ndombele and Madison both as the two number 8s or the under 8, number 10 sort of situation, which is how he plays, with Basuma as the number 6. I can see, that seems to be quite a decent sort of midfield. I mean, obviously Bentancur is not fit, but so I don't read anything into it. He's got to give them all a game, and tomorrow I think we'll see the situation where he'll literally have one team in the first half and one team in the second half. I mean, it's all very well saying we want to beat West Ham, but at the end of the day, it's a friendly the other side of the world. Yes, you've got to want to win every game you play, but at the end of the day, he's got to see his players, he's got to play them. So that'd be interesting.
Look, I would argue that if we're buying into Andrew's motto of wanting to win, we got to win tomorrow. But I hear you. But Brad, why don't you tell people about your channel, my man?
Right, yeah, my channel, Blue Sofa Songs. The blue sofa is right behind me, and in case you don't already know, I write songs. So I do all the lyrics, do all the music, I play all the instruments, record them onto a record, like a multi-track thing, record some sort of video, which could be me miming to my guitar, or it could be just pictures, depending on what time I got. And I put that on YouTube. It's called Blue Sofa Songs. At the moment, because I've got a new job, it's one song every the 28th of each, or the fourth Friday of each month. So the 28th of July will be when the next one's out there. Currently work in progress. I think I've more or less got the music down, but not sure what it's going to be about. But that's just how I write. It's always a last minute thing with me. So that'll be out. But please check out my songs. If you check out the ones that it will say DAW on the and favourites bit, DAW, they're the ones that have been done on different tracks. The early songs are just me playing, trying to play guitar live, trying to sing live, and recording it on a camera phone. All the songs are written about me, about my experiences, my feelings on things, a bit of politics in there as well, And sometimes there's a bit of stuff that's just a bit doesn't mean anything, but yeah, it's just my way of getting my thoughts down on digital media, but. Yeah, please give it a listen. I'm very proud of the last two songs that are on there. If you're going to go to any song, all your nice things is probably one of the best ones I've written. Out in the Park, the DAW version is very good as well. But yeah, check them all out if you have time. But it'd be really
of music for anyone that has a spare evening. Open it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the great thing is I've got enough songs now to pick the best 12 for an album. So, it's
Brad Matthews' album on the way. You've heard it here first.
Well, you know what? I something on the back burner is putting something into Spotify, releasing that on Spotify.
Interesting.
Which I believe you can do. You just buy some distribution. I mean, it's very cheap these days, and you just basically send them the songs, and they do it for you. So we'll see where that leads at a later date. But thanks, guys, for all give me the chance to publicize it. And if you can get on there, subscribe, like, share, all that sort of good stuff. I know that most people on here are here for the football, but if you just want a bit of a break from the football and you like your music, then do that, please. Be really, 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 really good. Really, really, really appreciate it.
Big up, Brad, my man. I really appreciate you and your time coming on all these fan shows, my man. Airing your opinions. Hopefully, you have a more successful time going to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this year. And more wins under your belt, Brad.
Yeah,
hopefully we can enjoy the roller coaster together.
Yeah, it's. I will be interested to see how the friendly, who turns up for the friendly against Shakhtar Donetsk. That could break our record for a crowd at a friendly match. So yeah, but unfortunately I won't be able to make it for that game. But I'll certainly be there for the first home game. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Well, make sure you represent us loud and proud, Brad. But Brad,
no problems. Thanks, guys. Thanks for everyone in the chat that supported me as well. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Brad.
Have a great evening.
Brad.
Enjoy work tomorrow, my man. See you, brother. Bye-bye.
See you soon, brother.
Everybody, like I said, if you got an evening, you're bored, you want something to do, get over and check out Braddy Boy's music. And
take your mind off the center backs.
Huh?
Take your mind off the center backs with the some sofa songs.
For sure. Absolutely love it. Big up, Brad. And we got Paul O'Connor coming in here as well. Big up, Paul. He says, big up, Dave and Jack. Hope all is good, lads. We're all good, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well. Yeah, crazy day booking Hobbit, I'd say, my man. Looking at all them exotic destinations. Big up, brother. And then we have Kaylee Davies. I'll be watching at 3 a.m. Seattle time. Now that's commitment. That's what we love to hear.
Been there before, Kaylee. Big up.
You're nearly there tomorrow, Jacko. Not too far off it.
Kaylee has it worse.
Is this game only on Spurs Play? In America, it's on CBS Sports as well. But if you're in the UK and Ireland, it is only on Spurs Play, as far as I'm aware. I've done my digging for you guys on that. But look, we'll keep this moving. We've got plenty more guests in the background. We will be ending off at 10 o'clock. The link will be coming out in the next half an hour. So if you do want to come on, get on it, click on it, and get in the back end. But let's keep it moving. We've got the one and only Michael in next. Let's get him in. And also big up Ellie, big up Tom Harrison, big up Ricky Nato, just coming into the building. Hopefully you're all keeping well. Ellie Hoiberg is still here. But Michael, how are you keeping, my man?
What's up, boys? I'm doing fine. I got all these, and I'm preparing for my defense. So yeah, but the time to take my mind off it and talk some Spurs.
Are you more prepared?
Unfortunately, the topic is not calming me down. So
Is your defense more prepared, or is Spurs' defense more prepared?
I think mine right now, with all due respect. But yeah.
Do you want to speculate about the 11s that we've seen today? With I think it's again, we'll say it aloud. I believe it was Vicario in goal. You had the likes of Pedro Porro at right back, Romero center back, Tanganga left-sided center back, or at least the other center back by the looks of things. With I believe it was Reguilón, who we've spoke about before, as the left back. Maybe we could start there. I mean, I'm not sure if you defended Reguilón with us, but on the podcast we spoke about Reguilón, I remember. So what do you make of him, sort of, at least in the quote unquote very speculated by the Irish Hotspur, new 11? What do you make of Reggie being in there?
Yeah, I definitely said I prefer him much more than Sessegnon, right?
Or Davies, right?
Like, again, with all due respect to Sessegnon, I bet he's a great bloke, right? But these guys' ACLs are, I don't hate. I literally, this is the part of a body of another person that I hate the most in the world. His ACLs, literally, because when I watched this guy in Fulham, I actually saw talent there. He was good. He was really good at Fulham, right? I know he played a bit of a different role, but trust me, if his body didn't give up on him, I think he would actually be a quality player, right? And he was a risk worth taking, in my opinion. But the way this guy absolutely crumbled, his body crumbled, right? It's not him, it's his body. I know that necessarily he doesn't have that much influence over it, right? It's just biology. His body is just maybe not made for such stress, right? But yeah, I'm happy that Reguilón has been given. I mean, he hasn't been given a chance yet, right? It was only a friendly, in between the teams. So for me, I wouldn't read too much into it. Again, if those were squads that we used against West Ham or in one of those friendly matches, then I think there would be more to analyze. Other than that, I think, of course, you kind of have to form a first team and a second team, kind of, but let's not do it the Nuno way. If you guys remember, Nuno did it completely. He separated both teams. They didn't even fly to a European night, the first team, right? Let's not do it that way. But I think it's actually useful to establish those are the guys that have their place nailed, and those are the guys that have to fight for it, right?
Do you know what, though, on that, just quickly, Michael, I'd actually argue now's the perfect time to do it. I think Nuno done it in the middle where there's competitions coming on. I agree with what he done, because I don't like the players he brought on Europe with him, and I think they should go anyway. But, when you look at what Ange Postecoglou, I think he's got an ideal chance to do that this summer. Just say, look, this is what my ideal 11 is. Outside of these guys, what we're keeping around, you guys have a lot to prove this preseason. And if they throw the toys out the pram, well, bye-bye. And if they want to knuckle down and work hard, well, then so be it. Go and do that. But I think now is the perfect time of Ange, if we were to do that again, for Ange to do it. Although I suspect people who weren't happy under Nuno put their head down until the 31st of August.
Yeah, maybe what I meant is that under Nuno, it felt as if the second 11 had no chance of becoming first 11, if you get me right. Yeah. Whereas here, even though we kind of separated two teams, right, it's still preseason. They can do maybe one of them will have a blinder and the other one will have a stinker, and we will find ourselves starting a name that we didn't really expect, right, when the season begins. But yeah, honestly, I wouldn't read too much into that squad separation, right? It's good that it's been established. Big up, Jim. It's good that it's been established, but yeah, let's see how we play tomorrow, right?
I tell you, that 11 does excite me, though. It does get me excited.
I would say it doesn't really excite me because there are no new center backs in that 11. I'm sorry, but until we fix that defense, I'm not ready to happy clap until we get.
Yeah, same here.
I'm sorry, but
center backs before I happy clap. I completely agree, Michael.
Exactly. Right now, we will have Tanganga, Dyer, Sanchez, or Davies starting next to Romero, and that's not something I will be happy about. I'm just going to say that out loud and from the beginning, right?
I'm in your boat. I'm absolutely. Do you feel like, I know a lot of people sort of don't want to read too much into the results of friendlies and, these sort of games, because I don't think you should. But with it being West Ham, first game of the season, we've traveled all the way to Australia. Do you kind of feel like you really want them to win this one out of all the ones, maybe to give up?
Yeah, the issue with West Ham is probably like a similar issue that some of like the bigger English clubs feel with us. At least like when I watch different, different channels of fans of different clubs, they kind of say that Spurs fans are really, really mouthy, and that we talk a lot, we do this, do that, right? And that we are kind of like second in the pecking order, let's say. I don't think that's like something harsh to say. I think like purely based on trophies, success, etc., right? We are kind of in the second pecking order, whereas West Ham are in third, right? So it's kind of like we are younger brother of those clubs, right? And they are younger brother of ours, but we really hate each other, right? So whenever your younger brother is acting up, you just have to, pat him on the head and, just calm down a little bit, you know your place, right? I'm the older one here. So that's exactly how I feel about West Ham, right? As you said, I won't really read much into it, but if they win, I will be like really happy about it. Let's be honest about it, right? I will be happy if we win that game, and maybe I shouldn't say if we win, when I should say when we win that game.
Oh.
We say now we won't be excited, but Endo will pull a few tricks out of the bag. Harry Kane will score a brace, some will add one, and we'll all be sitting here. We're back. We're going to win the Premier League, and I'm guilty of it too. I get caught in excitement for sure. But Michael, what do you make of Ange Postecoglou in the press conferences? Right, he's had sort of a lot of questions, hard questions, like he's had a lot around Harry Kane's future. He's had a lot around the squad, especially sort of the centre-back issues not being addressed, this, that, and the other. I mean, how do you think he's handled himself? Because me, for one, I find it refreshing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I generally really like what he's saying. I think we talked about it like 1 week ago when we were talking like that he has that kind of like he has that like blend of attitudes between you are my like this club is my family, this is me now, I am representing it, etc., right? But on the other hand, he has that attitude of like piss off with those questions, like he has that like self-respect about him that he won't get dragged into all that conundrum with journalists and all that stuff, right? He knows what he has to do, he knows what he likes, he knows what he wants, I really like that attitude about him, right? And with Harry, I think so far he's been like handling the situation really well. Listen, as much as I want to say that I would prefer if the journalists didn't really like focus all the press conference stuff about Harry Kane, I know that they have to. It's the biggest story like surrounding our club, right? I won't be mad that they are asking those questions, right? I'm a bit bored with the whole like Harry Kane situation, as we said like last time, boys. I would much rather see him either sign the contract or be sold, and so that we can focus on like beginning new things or building with him, right? Rather than being in this like weird limbo state when we don't really know like which way we are going, right? With him or without him. So, but other than that, with the whole Harry Kane stuff, I think he's been handling it pretty well, right? And I also, as much as like in regards to some surnames like Dyer and Davies, like what he said, I don't really like that he also applies it to those guys, right? But I like that he said that everyone has a clean slate, basically, and that's why they like took so many people with him to the tour, right? And that everyone will be given some sort of a chance so that he can assess them. As I said, I don't really like that it also applies to like Dyer and Sanchez and and Sessegnon and all those guys, because I feel like there should be someone telling him, listen, don't give those guys a chance, because they will let you down. They will definitely let you down somewhere in the future, right? Maybe they will play good for half a year, maybe they will play good for a year, but somewhere along the line they will like drag you down, right? So I wish there was someone like kind of making him not evaluate those guys, but listen, that's
yeah.
dreams, right? I understand that it can be that way, exactly that way, right? So, but other than like Dyer, Davis, and all those bumps, I'm happy that other guys are being given a chance. And listen, I trust the guy to make proper decisions, and I trust that when we start the season, like the squad will be what he wanted, right? Not necessarily all the signings that maybe he wanted, but they will be playing like he wants to, right?
Look, Michael, one player that we haven't really spoke about today and probably going to make his debut, right? Vicario, a relative unknown sort of towards the Spurs fan base. What do you think we can expect from him tomorrow? What do you want to see? For me, I want to see someone that gives me confidence, someone that's not jittery under the ball, someone that's not jittery with the ball at his feet. I just want to see him instill confidence into me, because if he's instilling confidence to me as a big fat gnome here back in Ireland, you can be sure that the likes of Tanganga Road and people like that, they're going to be standing there with stiffies with confidence,
Jesus. Yeah. Like,
now that's confidence.
With with goalkeepers, for me, it's always like one thing that I want the most is that they don't make any clangers. Like, I don't mind if they concede a goal or two if it's a well-constructed goal, especially because it's a friendly, right? But as soon as a goalkeeper makes a clanger, like at the beginning of his tenure, trust me, like people are so quick to get on goalkeepers' back. Because as you said, that's about trust, right? With goalkeepers, even us as a fan base, we have to trust our goalkeeper so that he's reliable, right? That we can trust him, that when he has ball at his feet, he won't like do a madness, right? When he's defending, that he will actually like properly react to shots being like fired at him, right, etc., etc. So what I wish the most is that he doesn't like make a complete clanger and and like puts the ball into Bowen's feet and Bowen scores a goal or something idiotic like that, right? Because then trust me, like this, not only our fan base, it's most fan bases, right? But our fan base, trust me, some of them will turn on him immediately, right? At that point, and that's something that I don't wish upon the guy, because like we know that maybe even if they don't listen much to social media, it gets to them some way or another, right? Yeah. So I want him to have a really like solid performance where he shows us that he can play with the ball at his feet, that he's good at defending, like that famous reaction speed of his, right? When we signed him, we got to know from fans of other clubs that he's really good at like those quick reaction saves, right? I want to see that. I want him to instill confidence not only in the players but also in me, right? So when we start the season, I want to say, this is my goalkeeper. I am perfectly fine with him, and I am happy that he is there, right? That's what I want to see from Vicario.
I'm a bit obsessed with the Instagrams of various, players on our team, Michael. And Vicario just today actually was able to do kind of a keepy up and balance it on his foot while doing kind of 3, hops, on his other foot. So it does show that he's much better on the ball than people probably already gave him credit for. So he's already shown off the ball skills for sure.
I actually fear for you tomorrow, Jack. If we see Vicario hit a 60-yard pass to Harry Kane's feet and he makes a save, I feel like we're going to have paramedics on standby for you.
I might be blinded.
Yeah, speaking of stiffies.
Really, I might be, honestly, it's something I've never really seen a man do in his first shirt in a long time.
You see Jack's camera go back ever so slightly when Vicario hits one. Michael, maybe last question, my man, a bit about Gil Messi. Sort of, look, we were all sort of, especially me and Jack, we were expecting Gil Messi to sort of go on tour, but, and really impress Ange, because we feel like he would suit in Ange's team, but unfortunately, he's got an injury at the wrong time. Is this it for Gil, or do you think that Ange Postecoglou will still look to include him in his plans?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm really torn on this topic, right? Because I believe that there is a player there, right? Similarly to, like, I don't want to really compare the two, but I kind of have to with what I said, right? Let's compare him to Sessegnon, right? And I know like the talent and the roles, etc. Everything is different, right? But purely what I want to compare is that Sessegnon had bags of talent, right? Then we like sent him on loan to Hoffenheim. He did his thing there. He came back, got injured. Then, all the betting in time again, we got him into the squad. Then he got injured again and again and again and again. And again, right? And with Ryan Hill, I know he's not been injured as much as Sessegnon, right? And as severe as Sessegnon, but it's kind of like the guy is here, like, 2 years already, right? And he can't really punch into the team. He can't really get into it. There is always something stopping him, right? Whether it is like Conte that didn't want to include him, whether it is an injury, whether it is like himself that he isn't, let's say, strong enough for the league, whatever, right? So at some point, I feel like it's like a hard decision will have to be made. Someone will have to take responsibility for either sending this guy out or like trusting into this guy and actually saying, you are my guy, I want you to stay, I want you to play for me, right? The reason why I'm torn, because I kind of feel like, how many chances can you get? Like, I'm kind of like, mate, like, do it, right? Just get into that team, show me that you can play. And he hasn't done that yet. So I would rather us spend time with other signings and try like newer players, trying to bet them in, rather than spend another like a couple of months on Hill and let's say he gets injured again or whatever. I know this can happen with any player, right? Like I know that might as well, like, Maddison can get injured in like 2 months and we will talk the same about Maddison, right? But it's kind of like my patience is kind of running out. Like,
I can understand.
I can clearly give him like another half a year or even maybe a season, right? If we treat this upcoming season as a transitional one. So I am like open to giving him another chance, right? But the chances are running out, right? I feel like if you don't click for the sake of his own career, even, I think he should go somewhere that he can play first team football. Because like with training, with game time also comes like sturdiness in your legs, comes strength. Sitting on the bench doesn't really help you develop, even if you are at the best training facility, under the eye of best trainers at whatever, right? You have to play, right? So for his sake, I would much rather, if he doesn't kick into the team in the upcoming season, I would much rather see the guy sold or loaned out again or whatever, right?
Yeah, I can understand.
Right?
No, look, I can understand. I can understand why people maybe are starting to wane with a bit, Gil. But you know what, Gil? I ain't giving up on you, baby. So don't worry about that, my man. But Michael, great calling. Hopefully we'll obviously, we'll have a conversation tomorrow. I'm going to try and do a post-match show and get them up and running. So if you're about, let me know, brother.
Yeah. Contact me on WhatsApp, Dave, because like we are speaking, I think it was like 2 weeks ago or something. About the whole post-match stuff. So if you need any help, contact me on WhatsApp. I will try to arrange something, although, as I said, I'm kind of preparing for the defense, so maybe I won't really have time to do a post-match show this time, but next match, definitely.
When you say defense, I keep thinking you mean centre-backs, and I can understand why you've got so many pages of notes there. But, Michael, pick yourself up, my man, and we'll speak soon, brother, all right? Come on, you Spurs.
See you soon.
Love it. Big up, Michael. Michael is good as ever, absolutely love that dude. He's brilliant. He's got a whole autobiography there on our backline. It looks like absolutely quality. But Jacko, we keep it moving, brother.
Keep it moving, Dave. Let's get through. And everybody, if you do have that link saved at any stage, just for the sake of it, and just helps us sort of have any sort of idea of what sort of the running order still is, it would do us a massive favor if you could just hit that link. So like I said before, if you did already have that link saved up, feel free to hit the link and join, the party, join the window, just so that we know who's sort of left and who still wants to come on. And then we will be seeing you tomorrow morning, everybody, for the show and for the big day.
Yeah, make sure you make it known, because your boy's got some Love Island to watch to chill out before the game tomorrow, before I go around and start bursting some bubbles. I need to, sort of bring myself down to a love and energy before I can get pumped up for the West Ham game tomorrow. So make it known if you are there that you do want to come on. But guys, also, most importantly, your boys are constantly in a fight with that algorithm, and we are doing a great job battling against it. You want to help us in our support of it? absolutely obliterate that lightning button, or that like button should be done like lightning, just bam, like that. Also, feel free to absolutely break your screen on that subscribe button, or why not get your thoughts in a super chat. But you guys be so good, keep getting them in the comments, and we're going to keep bringing them up. That's the deal here. But let's get on the next guest, and it is the one and only Rhino. Let's see if he's in a better mood this week. Last week wasn't too happy. Let's see how he is today.
West Ham get battered everywhere they go. West Ham get battered everywhere they go. Everywhere they go. Back it.
For tomorrow, Rhino.
Mate, do you know what? Right, I don't care what happens tomorrow. It's only a free win for them, because it's not going to be 3 points, is it? By the end of the season, they're getting relegated this year without Rice. So see you later, Runners. Bye bye, little brothers.
Speaking of Rice, did anyone see the video that AFTV put out? I mean, as soon as I seen it, right, I was like, my God, I'm so glad for Spurs song sheet. You know, it was absolutely ridiculous. It was embarrassing. You know, the most expensive boil in the bag rice I think anyone's ever paid for in their life, to be honest with you. But look, that weekend's West Ham's midfield. We throw Maddison and, you look at Basuma right now, full of energy. You're going to obliterate that midfield.
Yeah, main character.
Cannot wait. But, Rhino, Tottenham not going towards centre-back. So, I mean, opportunity missed for you. Does it have a knock-on effect? And, what do you think is holding it up?
Look, do you know what, right, Dave? It's becoming a bit of a joke. It's the same. I'm in a good mood, and you've had to bring this up. Really? Brilliant. Thanks, Dave. No, seriously though, like, it's getting beyond a joke now. Do you know what I mean? It's got to the point where we haven't got no centre backs that can defend, and do you know what, Dave? I'm going to do a U on this one. We are not even going to. If we don't get another centre back in at least one centre back in this window, we are not even finishing in the top 4 next year. I'm sorry, guys, but that's exactly how it is, and I don't want to be I don't want to sound negative, because at the moment my world is positive, but at the moment,
I don't believe this, Rhino. Right? I don't believe this, but for the sake of a debate, what would you say if people said, well, Davies, Dyer, and Sanchez have got us there before?
Don't trust them, right? It's a bit like what Corey said earlier, right? When I don't know if he's still in here, but big up Corey if you are.
Big up Corey.
He said that something about the Titanic's swimming pool, right? Our defense is leaking than Titanic's swimming pool. No, right? Do you know what? It's funny because the Titanic itself had more of a defense, right, than what our defense has got.
It can't get much worse than 60 plus goals conceded. That's for sure. That's sort of like rock bottom. But, you feel, like tomorrow is a big game for you, Ryan, because, it is, against West Ham. But King Hoddle is sort of saying if people start throwing their dummies out of the pram because we lose to wet spam, they really do need some help. Do you feel like we need to sort of also tone it back when it comes to these friendlies? But it's also the first game of the season against West Ham. We've traveled all this way. Maybe this is the one that you do want to win.
Look, Jack, it's difficult because I don't like the negativity in this world, in my positive world at the moment. I'm in a positive bubble. Let's try not to burst it, shall we?
No, definitely not. My bad.
But no, seriously, it's got to the point where it's hard because I want to beat them.
Yeah,
just for the fun of it. I just want to beat
all the
them.
games. This is the one I want to win, Ryan. I feel like I'm happy to sort of call it a learning process, or sorting out the system, getting back into shape. With all the other games, when it comes to Shakhtar, if it were Barcelona, anybody, I'd be like, you know what, we're getting into shape. Trying to learn also the system. But I feel like West Ham traveled all this way. I feel like we just got to kind of show up, play sort of like Jose Mourinho tactics, play your best team, and sort of, just try to beat them. And then for the rest of the games, start to, go a bit more relax. But I don't know. Like it also is sort of a game that no one will remember at the end of the day. Are you ready to take back Tanguy and Ndombele? Because he could start tomorrow.
Do you know what? I said this when Ndombele decided he was going to walk off. And I think Dave's knowing exactly where this is probably going to go with this one. No, when he walked off, that was it for me. That was it. And to be honest, it's still the same. And here we are under a year later or whatever, right? We're still keeping hold of him. Why? What is the point? What? Because he just plays a bit of flashy football. I mean, I think I've got more flashy. I've got more flashy football in my little pinky here than I have in any of Ndombele's feet.
Damn, I'd say we sign you up straight away then, Ryan, because that's my favorite part about Tanguy is that he has all the flash and every single part of him. But do you feel like Spurs fans like yourself, maybe there are a lot of you like yourself that don't really want to take Tanguy back, and even though it could be Ange's decision to take him back, maybe Spurs fans aren't really ready as a collective to take Tanguy back.
Look, I can't, like I said, I can't talk for everybody, Jack. So I'm not going to be talking for every person. I can only talk for myself. Now, it's annoying because, yes, I don't want Ndombele back, but I don't. Obviously, I don't know if Corey's still in the chat or not. If he is, he'll probably agree with me.
Football Manager, lad.
Oh no, he ain't even got his Xbox. But right. But like, if he's actually still in the chat and he'll probably agree with me and say he wouldn't want Ndombele back. So I can talk for Corey because obviously, like, but yeah, no, but I just don't think he's anywhere near where he should be. To be honest, he needs to get out now. He's robbing. It's like something that Corey would actually say. He's robbing a living off of the club.
Yeah. Would you say then the same to Gio Lo Celso? Would you say also him needs to go, or do you give Gio Lo Celso more of a chance?
No.
Yeah, needs to go too.
Yeah, he has to, because if you look at it, right, Jack, right, he's not done nothing. He's been out on loan for the last year.
Well, that's my thing, Ryan, is I feel like Gio has actually done less than somehow Tanguy has. And Tanguy's certainly had a rocky career here, but at least we've seen moments, and in fact, probably a few months or so, where he really was actually delivering for us, whereas Gio Lo Celso, like maybe a game or two like here and there, but it's never, I think, ever been any sort of consistent spell at any stage. And he did cost us similar amount of coin. He cost us plenty. Kind of another question, though, I do have to sort of rattle your brain here, Ryan, and I don't want to break your positivity, is Harry Kane tomorrow with the captaincy. What do you make of the fact that Sonny is the one next to Postecoglou for the press conference? And also, what would you make if maybe Harry Kane weren't wearing the captain's armband tomorrow?
Look, do you know what, right? I'm sick and tired of listening about this Kane malarkey. I've said it once already last week, and I'm going to say it again. Do one of two things, please. Either sign your contract or go. Please, just one of the two. Just do one of the two. I don't care.
Have you grown impatient?
I'm on it. I'm impatient with this. I'm so impatient with this now. It's like I've got more chance of literally going out there and getting hit by a car before he decides he's going to sign. Before he signs his new contract at this rate. And I know being hit by a car is not likely, Dave. And I don't fancy it getting hit by a car, to be honest. And that tells you.
Don't go out and attempt it either, lad. Don't go out. Don't go out and try it either.
I'm not gonna attempt to try and jump in front of a car because I've got too much respect for myself for that these days. But no, seriously, I've got more chance of being hit by a car than Kane probably signing a contract, and me being hit by a car is literally 1 in a million. But so imagine what the odds are for then Kane to sign in his contract if there's a 1 in a million chance of me being hit by a car. They just skyrocketed up to 100 million.
Would you be all right with Sonny being captain, or is there someone else that you would rather see?
Do you know what? Sonny being captain wouldn't be a bad thing for tomorrow, but it's difficult because can I see him being fucking hell. My brain's gone. It's because all this positivity. Positivity.
Do you know what it is? It's Ndombele dribbling around in your mind, my man. Step overs and everything else. That's what it is. It's chewing you off.
Yeah. No. Do you know what, right? It's just annoying because I don't know if Son could actually be would be able to actually be captain because I can't see him being a leader. But then at the moment we haven't got any leaders in. If I was anybody, I'd give it to well, if he comes in, would be Mickey.
No, I think with Mickey, I think he's a good player, but he's still got a lot to learn. I don't think you can make him captain. I think it has to be, a Kane, a Son, a Højbjerg, someone like that. Look, I can understand why the club would make Son sort of captain on this tour. I mean, if Harry Kane's not going to commit, it makes sense to make Son captain, but also, to keep Harry Kane out of the press as well, it sort of probably makes sense to make Kane sort of captain. Look, it'd be interesting to see how this saga unfolds, but I definitely wouldn't be giving the leadership to Van der Ven, that's for sure. I do think it needs to be someone that needs to that has been here for a while. But Ryan, what's your score for what's your score prediction for tomorrow, man?
Do you know what? I've got to be positive tomorrow, man. I can't say to Jack, that be positive towards me, and then I go and be flaming negative. So, do you know what? Otherwise, I'm throwing stones into it. If you live in a greenhouse, do not throw stones. So, to be honest, I think we'll probably win 4-0.
Oh, I love the confidence.
That'd be lovely.
I love the confidence.
I've got to say 4-0 just because, right? There's no Rice in that midfield anymore.
Yeah,
run right through it.
I think it's us.
Yeah, and literally, but do you know what? He's gone from one shit team to another shit team. So hey,
honestly, with the Arsenal flag draped over him and all, it was embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing. He may as well have been on his knees kissing it. It was disgusting. But anyway, I know. Big yourself up, my man. I appreciate your time this evening, and hopefully we can get that win tomorrow, boy. All right.
Well, do you want my score? Do you want my goal scorers as well?
Oh, go for it. Who have we got?
How many is Big H scoring?
We got Sonny scoring tomorrow.
Oh.
Then we have, funny enough, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually do a Paul Robinson tomorrow either.
Vicario.
Yeah. Okay. It wouldn't surprise me. Next. And then I'd probably, pending who else? I'd probably say a Madison goal. Debut goal.
Ryan Mason? You think Ryan Mason will get one from the bench?
Don't, Dave. Don't.
Vicario, you may as well add in Donna Cullen.
And Madison for the third. And do you know what? I actually think Romero might actually put one in tomorrow.
Joe Lewis might as well. Penalty kick. You never know, right?
Human missile in the air.
But right
now, you never know, though. You never know. Do you know what? Sod's law, that's going to happen now. Watch.
I love it. Right now, you never fail to disappoint, my man. It's good to see a smile on your face, brother. And hopefully we can enjoy the season together, my man. All right?
Yeah, man. That's all good, man. Look, all I can say is, right, just don't let people put you down, guys. Yes, mental health is a problem, but just be positive, and then you'll get into the same sort of position that I'm in a very positive mood, and you'll hopefully have a chance. But no, just one quickly thing, though. Corey, big up, man. A lot of love. I'll be giving you a call in a minute, mate.
Big up, Corey.
Big up, Corey, man.
Corey, get the phone at the ready, my man. Get it at the ready. Big up. Rhino, pleasure, my man. As always, and we'll speak again soon. Peace.
Peace.
Big up, Rhino. Big up, Rhino. Great to see Ryan coming with a big smile on his face today. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see.
He gave me an image of Donna Cullen and Joe Louis flying in the air for like a corner header, Dave, or something like that. I could see, that's how I could see them scoring, scrappy goals if they were deciding to shove themselves onto the pitch. But let's just hope they don't have that much involvement, with the footballing side of things. But definitely crazy
brilliant.
image to have in my head. Crazy image.
Oh, brilliant. But if Vicario scores, you know where you heard it first. Big up, big up. But look, we'll keep this moving. Jacko, before we get into final guest, do you need the toilet or the drink or a drink or anything?
I'll give my first question to, I believe we have, it looks like it's going to be Chris next. Chris, I do want to say hello to Chris first, because I'm not sure if I've been on with him before. So at least want to give him a question or two, but I do need a toilet break, Chris. So at least allow me to give you the opener. Right.
You can set Chris off. Big old Chris, good to see you, my man. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
How are you this evening?
Hi, how are you? Pleasure for having me.
No, thanks for coming on, my man. But Jacko, look, we'll let you kick it off.
We've been kind of forcing everybody to speculate and put on the tinfoil hats this evening, Chris. Do you want to start with Harry Kane and whether him wearing the captain's armband or not is something to be read into tomorrow?
I don't actually. I'd rather talk about something else.
I like it, actually.
It's fine. I don't think there's anything to be read into it. As Ange said in the press conference, I'm sure many of you have seen. I think he's just trying to get a feel for the people, see players' attitudes, and go from there. I don't think it's anything that the fans, the press, content creators, all of us, we're going to read into it, but he's not going to read into it. So it's not something that I personally care about. It's just
Smart
football
answer.
at the end of the it's just go with the flow. It's not,
I actually like that answer, Dave. I mean, I feel like he's in a way, you can look at some of the little clues and signs, but you can also kind of look at all the clues and signs stacked up, and it really doesn't mean all that much at the end of the day. Like, it can be quickly sort of, dissuaded, but I don't know. I mean, Sonny doing the press conference was a bit interesting. It looked like he was trying to look all like captainy by nodding his head, and giving that sort of assurance, to Ange the whole time. But I think you're right. It's been the past. I think it was like Perisic or something last year, was next to, Antonio Conte or somebody, that was unexpected. So it's always, something.
You can't say that word. You can't say Conte. You can't say Conte now anymore.
Well, look, I got to read into it what I want, because it helps make me sleep at night. But Chris, you seem like you're here on a mission, my man. You said you got other topics you want to discuss, so let's hear them.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, whatever. I mean, I'm here to discuss anything you want to bring 11? Up. Starting 11. Well, yeah. I mean, I've got it in front of me here, and basically, I've just pulled it up from anywhere. I saw Ali Gold's and Rob Guest's starting 11. They only differ basically in two positions. So it's basically Reggie at left back or Udogie. They're the two differences. So Gold said Reggie and Guest said Udogie. Either one. I don't know whether there's anything confirmed, but I haven't seen anything apart from that. And then you've got Ali Gold said Son would be starting left wing, and Rob Guest said Mana Solomon would be playing. So. Yeah, that is what I've seen. So
Reggie, are you on the Reggie train like Dave and I are? We think he's had kind of a weird narrative sort of kind of made about him, than that we actually think he's better than some people maybe remember him for.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm based in Spain, so I've seen him. He was loaned out to Logroñés, and he had I think if I'm not mistaken, he was there for a couple of seasons at least. Well, one, but I think he was there for a couple of seasons, and he ripped it up. So yeah, he was very, very good. And then at Spurs, I mean, look,
I loved him at Sevilla.
I mean, yeah, I mean, Sevilla is a very, very good team to go and play for. Regardless of whether you support other teams or not, but it's a very, very good place to go. They've got a very good structure there. Although Monchi has gone to Aston Villa now, who's a DOF. That they could feel that loss quite significantly, but it's a great place to go. It's a very good city, great climate. They've got a lot of history now, especially European. But yeah, it's a great player. I mean, you could pick anyone out of any team in Europe or whatever, stick it in Seville, and they would basically thrive because it's just a good environment, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Reggie is he's a good player, I mean, he was okay at Atletico Madrid. I think he was there on loan.
Could you be worried about the injuries he picked up? Because what I used to say about Reggie is that what I liked about him was that I think he's actually very pacey, and that he's sort of like that sort of traditional Spanish fullback, and that he's a bit quicker than maybe he looks.
Yeah,
and then also has that nastiness to him. But maybe all the injuries, he could come back a different player, right?
Yeah, the ACL is obviously everyone's worst nightmare. I think it's the worst injury that any player could have. Bar head injuries, you know, we're talking serious stuff there. But you know, what like articulations, like your knees and that. I think that's the worst injury that you could possibly have as a player. So yeah, it's always a concern. If he comes back 100%, I mean, I would be very, very comfortable seeing Reguilón and Udogie as Spurs left backs. I mean, why not? You know, pretty good player. Sorry, what's that?
No, I was just going to say I agree with you. I think they're two good options. I don't want to see Ben Davies as one of the options because I don't think he's good enough to play there. I think that's why he was sort of moved out of there in the first place and rebranded as a left-sided centre-back. So I'd agree. I'd actually be happy with Reguilón and Udogie. I think Reguilón's been harshly treated. It was, it was simple for me what happened. Conte wanted Perisic in here as his main man, and they turned around and said, okay, well, one of the foreign players in the squad have to go. And it was easier to set Reguilón his way than it was to maybe sell Sessegnon. So I agree. I'd like to see the two of them stay around here and compete for that spot this season.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it countless times to countless people. I've been lucky to be on other streams as well. So I, big up to everyone who I've been fortunate to collaborate with. Shout out to them. I think that a lot of the situation that we're in is, and a lot of players, for example, Reggie being one of them, is shipped out, Tanguy, who was playing before as well. Tanganga, sorry, not Tanguy. And Tanguy as well, to a certain extent. I mean, I know a lot of people that don't like him, and there's a lot of big debate and about his physical and his mental.
Where do you stand on the Tanguy situation?
I'm sliding into that. I think that there's a lot of players that are victim of circumstance, because since Poch, the club has gone into regression, and they haven't got the managers that fit Spurs. So when you don't do that, you're obviously going to have players that are out of place, that really don't fit the systems that you want to play. So obviously, if you get a Mourinho, who everyone says is a defensive, but he scores loads of goals in his teams, and he's got he had one of the best attacking teams at Madrid. He scored 100 goals or whatever, but he's still, in general, in the broad sense of the word, a defensive-minded manager. That's not what Spurs are. As far as I'm a Spurs fan since 1983, it's a long, long time ago, and it's rained a hell of a lot since then.
Surprised you don't have grey hair.
I do, and I don't dye it, but I do have grey hairs. Trust me. But we aren't a defensive-minded team, and we didn't come from Poch, who was a defensive-minded manager. So you can't do that. It's total lack of. That
went against your upbringing.
Well, I mean, I'm a Barcelona supporter as well, and a lot of people know that. From I'm a Barcelona and I'm a Spurs supporter in equal measure since 1983. So when I was 4 years old. So
it goes against what you know.
It's totally against what I know, and especially this debate about Ndombele's rubbish. He's this, he's that, he's the other, and Tanganga shouldn't be here. And of course, we've had 5 or 6 years that are absolutely rubbish. Well, 4.5, 5 years, they're absolutely rubbish. Of course, because you haven't had the right tools. And that's my opinion. I mean,
no, I think a lot of people.
No, I hear you. I hear you on that. I actually think you make a very sort of good argument. One thing I would say is I do feel, and this isn't aimed at you, but I do feel like we're very quick to make excuses for some of these players, because although I get your point that we've brought in a Jose and a Conte, me and Jack were actually having this conversation the other day about Ndombele, that it is a lot more of a disciplined role, and that's not where you get the best out of Ndombele. However, we don't make them excuses for Kane or Son. They still perform regardless of the manager. And also, Ndombele arrived here under Pochettino. He had, from the start of that season, up until November, and he was MIA. So, you know, with Ndombele, I do think, you know, it's that part. I think partly it's down to him how it's gone because he didn't arrive here fit, but also other managers coming in hasn't exactly helped it. You know, the cause, and it's probably made it worse. The style of manager we brought in here, but I'm cautious that we don't make the excuse for the players because, you know, I do feel like, you know, if he came here and hit the ground running and performed, Jose Mourinho wouldn't have dared left him out of his midfield. Neither would Conte.
No, I and to a certain extent, and I'm probably throwing stones at my own theory, but I think it's more of a not a mental, as in he's mad. He's got, but I think it could be to do with the trauma that he's probably suffered from childhood. And I'm not making an excuse. I throw that out because I like to study. I like to analyze this possibility that maybe, because we saw in the documentary that he wasn't having a good time, right? And that makes me believe that maybe because his price tag wasn't small, it was huge. He'd only been in top flight French football because he was at Amiens. He went on loan to Lyon, and then from Lyon he made he was first team starter, right? And then he jumped to the EPL, right? And he was still very young. With that price tag on him, he seemed like he was like under some kind of pressure, or he thought that he couldn't do it, or I don't know what was going through his head, but he seemed like he was under some kind of, I don't know, some kind of anxiety, some kind of, I don't know what it was. And then he's made to play under a manager that doesn't suit his style. Then he goes out on loan and he gets all the criticism from fans, and rightly so, because we are who we are. We're beasts as well. We take no prisoners. We want the best, and we don't allow for anyone making a false pass, a bad pass. And, unfortunately, because at the end of the day, they're people. But from my perspective, I don't make an excuse. I like to analyze why things happen,
Yeah, I can hear you.
You know what I mean? So I don't know why.
Maybe what I will say on that, Chris, is for me, I think, look, you also got to look at the leagues, right? The French league, complete so much easier than what it is to the English league. Going out to Italy, so much slower. And when the game is slower, it allows for people look, I speak for myself, and I'm not saying Ndombele is like this, but people like me who are overweight, it allows us to excel, right? Because it's not whizzing by you, this, that, and the other, and you have more time on the ball, which makes you look better. And I do think that's, in France, it made Ndombele look great, and in Italy, that's why Napoli were okay to use him as an impact. So because the game is slow, and he can come on and with a bit of magic, maybe he can unlock that Italian famous defense. But the Premier League is a complete different ball game. It's fast.
Yeah, definitely.
You've got to be strong. You've got to be fit to survive in it. And I think that's what ultimately has let Ndombele down. But that's why, people keep going off. We can get the player we've seen in France, or he's done all right at Napoli. Yeah, because the leagues are so much slower. It suits a guy that's not fit.
Yeah,
I think a lot of old players go out to Italy.
I think that's a pretty good analysis, to be honest, Dave. And I think we're going to soon find out, because we can see in training what he's capable of doing. And we saw, I'm sure, I suppose that people that follow it, we saw a pretty good, neat trick that he done, and he went down the left wing and he banged it in the back of the net in training the other day or yesterday. I'm so lost, I don't know when it was, but Ange is going to find that out pretty quick, that it's not a few flicks and you can run down the line. And if you're not there mentally, you can have a six-pack, or you can have great legs, you can have great stamina, but if you don't have the complete package, you're not with me, And as I said before, and those who want to, I'm not reading the chat. I don't care about the chat. I can't see it. I'm just seeing.
People are enjoying your points, my man.
Oh, really? Oh, well, thank you, much appreciated. But what I'm saying is that I don't. It's like Levy and Enoch and all this. I like to analyze. I don't believe in absolutes. I like to analyze why things happen and go from there, because that's just gives you a balanced kind of why and why not. At the end of the day, I've got my life to worry about, not someone who's on 200 grand a week. You know what I mean? It's not my job. It's over my pay rate. My pay, the limit. It's not. But
no, I'm like you. You know that, lad. I like to sort of look at the situation way up one side and the other, but ultimately, sometimes I fall on the angry side. A lot of the times,
I get you.
Can't be helped. But Chris, my man, great first call in. It was great to have you on. I think you brought some very good points and unique points to the table that we haven't heard, this evening. So big up for that, my man. It's not easy.
You.
But your football channel, Meta Football TV. Why should people get over there and hit the subscribe?
Because it's the best. It's just that's the way it is, No, I'm just starting out. I have I don't want to get too personal, but I have been quite a long time off with mental health problems. I know it's a big topic now, but it always has been. My parents, who are not English, they're Spanish and Irish. They worked in the NHS for 50 years in mental health and all over the spectrum. My father, above all, because he's a grade E nurse. He's the highest rank you can be as a nurse. And I've seen a lot of stuff, and I've heard a lot of stuff. I'm suffering it myself. I've got my own issues, and to come out of that, my wife actually encouraged me literally about a month and a bit ago to start my own channel. Because I started watching this channel, and I started watching other channels. She goes, why don't you give it a go? And I'm really overwhelmed. I mean, I've only got 61 subscribers, and I say only without disrespecting my 61 subscribers, because they are a huge part of what I do. And even though I don't get comments on a huge basis, but to have 61 subscribers means the world to me. And I hope to get 62 and 72, and I'm not hoping to get 100,000. I just hope that it helps me on my mental health journey.
You know what I will say, man, is I think your wife's absolutely spot on, because for me, especially over the lockdown, right, it gave me a reason to get out of bed. It gave me a reason, to get up and do stuff, which then gives you a complete different mindset, and you don't even see it changing over time. So definitely stick by that. And my man, if you ever want to chat or anything like that, don't ever be afraid to reach out. I'll always pick up the phone to your brother, so don't ever worry about that. And everybody, all I can say is please get over, smash the subscribe button for Chris. Why not make his evening? Why not get him 100 subscribers? Let's see if we can get that done. But Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure. I could sit here and talk to you all evening, my man. Thank you very much for your time coming on.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy this season together.
Great chat, man.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Dave. All the best for everyone, and thank you in the chat for the nice comments. I haven't seen them, as I said, but thank you very much. And it's been my pleasure, and hope to see you once again whenever you feel like it.
I'd love to see you again.
I've seen you on channels, my man. So keep doing what you're doing. You give good talking points and stuff like that. So keep it up, all right?
All my love and best wishes.
See you
soon, Chris.
Well done. You know what, Jack? I love first-time callers, because you get to meet new people and make new friends, but they also bring different dynamics to the fan shows, and I absolutely love that. Great comments in there for Chris. So big up, Chris. But look, we'll keep this moving. We've got 2 guests left, and then we will be calling it a day. We will be ending off. And the first one we've got in is Kate from Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs. And then we will be ending off on the one and only T-Dog, a.k.a. Tyler. But let's get on Kate first. Big up, Kate. How are you?
Kate.
Hello. I'm good, thanks. How are you both?
Doing okay.
Yeah, good. Yeah, Dave, you look like the milk tray man. You look like the milk tray man.
You know what? I'm excited for tomorrow. I can't wait.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, I've been in an angry mood today. I didn't. Is it me or is it you? Yeah.
It's probably me. I'll just log out and come back in. It's always me.
Hang on. Is that? Is this me? Because I've turned my camera off. It might be me.
Take it away, Kate. Just take it away. How about you go first? You start first with the topic, and then maybe we'll catch up.
What can I talk about? Well, I've been really angry today. I did a stream earlier, and it wasn't my normal happy-go-lucky Kate. It was angry elf Kate today, ranting and raving and banging my arms about because of the centre-back situation. So, but I'm trying not to be angry Kate tonight. I'm going to be happy Kate tonight because we've got our first game tomorrow.
Everybody's going for the happy clappy approach today, and Dan Coys is even saying Dan Coys is celebrating 16 months. I missed this a while ago, Dan. I apologize, but he says the season can't come quick enough. Come on, you Harris Army, big yourself up, Dan Coys. People are just desperate to happy clap again, aren't they, Kate? And they just want to see Spurs playing in the beautiful shirt.
Yeah, of course they do. It's just a little bit depressing when you look at the team sheet. I think that's what got me on a bit of a downer today, when you see and it's the same names. Do you know what I mean? It's a little bit depressing, but it is what it is. I just feel for Ange because it puts him on a back foot, when he's got these defenders there that are, clearly not good enough to cut it. And he's expected to go out pre-season and showcase this attacking style of football with these. Well, I don't even think they're championship defenders. You want to know the truth?
Yeah, I think we've said that in the past, to be fair. It's just that I feel like Ange Postecoglou, though, looked a bit frustrated maybe by the fact that maybe certain players hadn't been moved on. What did you make of his press conference? Because he did sort of, talk about the fact that the team has been, sort of, not changed very much, at least when it comes to outgoings.
Yeah, I think he's frustrated. I think he is an absolute expert at press conferences. So refreshing and honest and genuine. Says the right thing every single time he speaks. But yeah, I did sense a little bit of frustration. I also sense that he's got a close relationship already with Sonny. So I expect Sonny to be our new captain massively. And I think, and I do think that actually is an indication that Kane will be going.
Okay. And
last week,
so you do want to read into it, Sonny being there and, Kane potentially not wearing the captain's armband. You feel like there's something to read into there.
Well, yeah, the thing is, last week I was all, Kane's not going anywhere. I'm going to sit on him and make him stay put. Do you know what I mean? But there's too much smoke for there not to be fire. And do you know what? I'm at the stage where I say, let's just get rid of him as soon as possible now and get the money in, because it must be so disrupting, not only for Ange, but for people like Sonny, who's used to playing so close with Kane, to not know who's going to be his wingman, if you like, next season. Sonny seems like quite a sensitive character, and I would imagine that plays on his mind, because if you remember when he was linked with City, it took him a while to get that partnership back up and go and running again after Kane sort of didn't get the move that he wanted. Sonny and Kane took a little while to start gelling again.
Yeah, that's right.
I think if he's going to go, just bloody well go.
Dave is going to be heartbroken, though.
I know, Dave. I'm
last
sorry.
Last week you were showing more love and kind of what would I say, protectionism, of Harry Kane. Like you said, you were going to smother him so that nobody would let him leave. And Dave, I think, would do the same thing. And now all of a sudden you're more open to him leaving.
I adore him. I adore Harry Kane. I worship him. I think he's just the most magnificent player, and I love watching him. But if he wants to go, let him go, please, and let's get some money for him. Or if he's going to do us the courtesy of signing an extra sort of extension, have it in the contract that we can buy him back. But just one way or another, get it done, because it's not fair on the new manager at all. It's a terrible position for him to be in. First 3 questions about Kane, it's like, oh, move on. He's not going to say anything. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what, Kate? Do you know what, Kate? I get it, right? I get that we're all getting frustrated with all the questions, but all I say to you is just hang in there. Don't give up on the situation, Just don't give up on Harry yet. And look, we got to understand, right? That business is a part of football now, whether we like it or not. And Kane he is holding out for the best opportunity for himself. And I think also part of me thinks he's holding out to make sure that the club sort of get the business done so that they can convince him of a project. Because he has said in the past, that's all he wants. And look, until Bayern put in the money, they can keep putting everything else they want in the press. Guess what, Bayern? You ain't getting them until you stump up the money. So stop moaning or pay up. But look, with Harry Kane, everyone knows my thoughts on it. I could sit here for 24 hours and do a stream if I wanted to, but I won't. Not tonight, because I have to be up early tomorrow for the watch long, and so does Jacko. But look, all I say to you, Kate, is hold strong. You and Jim, just hold strong. Don't give in yet.
Don't lose now. Don't lose your faith now, I think.
I'm trying. I've got white knuckles. Yeah, it's hard. It is hard, but if it's Kane trying to make sure the club does its business, then he's a legend, even more so.
He is. Yeah, I'll start worshipping him, even though my missus probably claim I already do. But look, Kate, you know, with the club captaincy, Hugo Lloris was left at home. I mean, who would be your choice for club captain?
Well, I think after Sonny's publicly sort of denied Saudi Arabia after they've come in for him, I can't see past him, really. I can't see anyone else I'd have as captain over him. I've gone through the team time and time again looking, and there's nobody. You know, he's loyal. He's obviously got a good relationship with everybody there, but we've seen that he's got that little bit of fire when he had that little tear up with Lloris on the pitch. Do you remember?
That's true. Yeah, is he too much of everybody's best friend, though?
No, I'm everyone's best friend, but believe me, if I need to let it go, you ask Jim. If I need to, I can let it go. Don't you worry about that.
I think Jim's too busy. I think Jim's too busy at home listening to your sexy voice, according to Jim. He says, Jack and Dave, what a sexy voice your guest has. Wish I could see her face. Big up, Jim, Bob. Big up, my man.
That's why my camera's off. I knew he'd do. I knew he'd do something like this. That's why I turned the camera off.
Look, love never dies, Kate. Love never dies. That's one thing my parents have taught me, you know. No matter how older you get, love never dies, which is great. But look, what about Højbjerg, right? There's not really a lot of noise around Højbjerg. Me and Jack sort of done a stream yesterday, and we sort of said that, you know, everyone always writes Højbjerg off under every manager, but yet he stays here and he seems to get picked for nearly every single game. You know, are fans writing off Højbjerg too quick? Do you think he still has a part to play?
Well, I don't want to go down negative Nancy road again, but I've renamed our club One More Chance FC because that's all we do. We give players one more chance. By that, I'm not really referring to Højbjerg. I'm referring to Dyer, to Davis, to Rodon, to all this deadwood we've got. We got even Ndombele. We're all pinning our hopes that he'll become this baller overnight when he hasn't played. He's only played 190 minutes in the last season. So,
what will it take for you to call him Ndombele?
I like him. I don't think he fits. It'll take a lot for me to call him that. I know he's got it. I know he's got it in there. He's just got to show it consistently. But if he scores a couple of times, I'll come on here and call him Ndombele.
Love it. That's what I want to hear. Right, let's get back to Zinedine Salzburg. What's your thoughts? You think he still has a part to play?
In an ideal world, I'd get rid of him and get someone better and more suited to the system. But I think we need to concentrate on other areas before we worry about that. You want to know the truth. And he can do a job for us. He's not my first choice, but like I say, we need to concentrate on the defence. And if we end up getting rid of him and getting in a better midfielder that suits Ange, then that's great. But I'm just more concerned about strengthening our weakest spot, which is obviously the defence, which is appalling.
Some people feel like we are going to pay the price for. Sorry, Kate. Some people are going to feel like we're going to pay the price for the center backs, you know, not being brought in yet. You know, basically that the fact that they're not working with Ange right now, we could see the repercussions of maybe later into the season. Do you kind of believe that, or are you sort of like others that are maybe still, you know, slightly frustrated, but maybe still a bit calmer about the situation?
Well, in an ideal world, he'd be on pre-season, gelling with his teammates and learning the system. It's only, 4 weeks, is it, till the new season starts? So it ain't ideal, but we need to get the business done the end of the week, in my opinion, and fly him in, because otherwise it's not, like I say, it's putting Ange on the back foot. Yeah. And we've got another scapegoat manager. Oh, he can't cut it. He's not good enough. And it's not him. It's bloody the board and the players not performing for him because we're left with the same old crap. Sorry to be moaning Minnie again, but it's true. I so want Ange to succeed, and I feel he's got the odds stacked against him.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I completely
that's
agree.
just how I feel.
Completely agree, and that's why I wanted centre backs in here immediately, because I've heard too much over the last couple of seasons. That oh well, these guys are international players. These managers should be getting better out of them, and it's like, let's be real here. These guys are known as some of the best defensive managers in the world because they know how to set up a defensive team. If we've got defenders that shipping goals left, right, and centre, there's your problem. And Ange will suffer the exact same fate if he doesn't get centre backs. And I know everyone's going, oh, but we'll have patience this time. The reality is, no one will. You start losing games, you're going to call for a manager's head. It's that simple.
No.
Even if you like the guy, you're still going to go, well, I like him, but we can't keep losing games. We need to get someone else in here. So, we just can't keep going down this route of making every manager look outdated or a dinosaur, doesn't know what they're doing. The reason why that happens is because you've got Tweedledum, Tweedledee, and Tweedletwat all in the back line, and every single one of them just need to F off. If you want me to be brutally honest, I'm sick of it.
Yeah, exactly. I hate to say it, but we need to be more Chelsea, start being ruthless. We've had some of these players 10 years. If they're not good enough and no one wants to rip the contracts up, pay them off and get rid. They're absolute cretins stealing a living. Do you know what I mean? It's sickening to see these people in our club. It just makes me so crazy mad. But anyway, I'm back to Happy Kate now.
It's like the bin company hire me as a bin man, and then I just don't empty any bins. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'd expect my contract to be cut.
It is.
But look, Kate, why don't you tell people where they can find you?
I'm not. Well, you can find me at Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs. I've only been doing it 3 weeks. I'm at 138 subscribers, which I'm so happy about. I could cry. I'm so excited. Apart from today, it's normally just we do a bit of Spurs, we do a bit of everything. We just chill. It's quite a chilled vibe. Apart from today, when it really wasn't. But normally, it's a chilled, happy place to be, and where we have fun. We talk from anything, from mental health to cola bottles to 80s movies. But there's always a bit of Spurs chucked in there somewhere because, you've got to do it, ain't you?
Well, look, what I will say is enjoy the chill period between now and the end of the week until I get on. So, because it won't be so chilled then. Although if we win, you might get me in a good mood. So we'll wait and see.
That's all right.
Just make sure you have your Wheatos.
Great cereal, by the way. Absolute great cereal. Jim also says, there is the sexy face to go with the voice.
What's he like?
I love it. Big up, Jim. That's how you do it, my man. That's
Jim,
how
she
you do it.
tried her best to stay happy clapping. She tried her best to stay, looking forward to tomorrow. She stayed disciplined, for her expectations. She's still riding the hopium. It's good to see.
Jim, don't give up on Kane, my man. Do not do it, buddy. But no. Jim, Kate, great to see you. Thank you very much for your time this evening. Thank you for your patience in the back end as well. And Kate, I'll be on yours near the end of the week, so big up.
Thank you for having me on. I absolutely love you guys, so thank you so much.
You, Kate. Thank you.
And I'm keeping the Harry faith.
There you go. Back on the train.
Don't give up. And I'll tell you what, if he does leave, you can come over and give out to me then for an hour.
Exactly. You know who to blame. You know who to blame now.
You've got a deal. See you later, guys.
See you, Kate. Big up.
Well done, Kate.
Bye-bye.
Great call.
Bye.
Absolutely great call. Absolutely great calling. Laughs, talking Tottenham, crying together over centre backs. That's exactly what it's all about. By the way, everybody, you can learn a bit off Jim. Absolutely love that,
Yeah.
Love never dies. Never dies.
Absolutely
Brilliant.
Right. Rob Wallace gifted 5 memberships actually a while ago. Big up to Rob Wallace here, everybody. He's given one to Derek Smith, Christoph Cavalets, Spurs Cockeyed TV, everybody's favorite Pedro Porro fan, Kevin Ferguson, as well as Gary Blogs. Any of those who feel like, coming on next Monday, feel free to do so, because Rob Wallace, I believe, has given you a great opportunity to take advantage of it. It's also sort of like a trial month, if you will, to, come on, have your say and, speak with Dave or I. And if it feels like it's something that you're interested in, you want to keep doing, do exactly what Rob has done and give it to somebody else, or, grab it for yourself.
Exactly. And, those I want to see, Derek Smith, we're due a good conversation, buddy. Make sure you get on here. Steve from Cockeye TV as well. Absolutely
Legend.
brilliant character. Love that guy. So we want to see you as well as you, Christoph, Gary, and Kevin Ferguson as well. Make sure you avail of that. And Rob Wallace, beat yourself up, brother. You must be excited about the game. I believe it's in a few hours for you. I believe it's sort of the start of your day, Rob. So hopefully you have a great day, and hopefully it ends well with us smashing the bubble merchant. So beat yourself up, Rob, and hopefully New Zealand's treating you well. Let me know if you made the flight over to Australia to go and see Tottenham. Let me know. I'll be interested to hear, Robbie. Beat yourself up, brother. And people, make sure you do avail of their memberships. Absolutely love it. But look, let's get on Tyler. Where is he? Here he is, Tyler. You there, buddy? Yes, he is. Here he is. Let's get him on. Big up, Tyler. How are you keeping, my man?
Pretty good. Not too bad. I mean, excited for tomorrow, even though obviously, I'm still upset about the center backs.
Yeah, that's the mood today, Tyler. It feels like everybody's sort of like, really excited just to see Spurs play, but they could be a bit more excited is what I'm sort of getting from everybody.
Yeah, definitely. I hate that I'm last because I don't want to come in with negativity. So let me just start it off.
You can do however you want.
Real quick. Let me just start with the negativity real quick, and then we'll move on to the positives.
What do you make of the first 11 that we've been discussing? Do you want to speculate on that? Reggie being in there, Tanganga next to Romero. What do you want to make of that sort of potential starting 11?
Yeah, I just wanted to start real quick by saying, go back to last summer after Davies and Dyer somehow had a miraculous end of the season, but people like me and Dave in the summer, I'm not too sure how much you were pushing more center backs, but we ended up only getting Longley somehow, right? Which I don't mind trying out Longley. I think it was a decent risk to take because he is so good on the ball, but we didn't get one in, and then comes around January. We're seeing these shit performances come in from Dyer, Davies, and still we begged for center back. Nothing happened in January, and somehow, some way, this summer started, and we bought Madison, got in Solomon, and bought a goalkeeper before our main priority came in at center back. I'm still in utter shock, really pissed off, but yeah. That's how I just want to say.
On that though, Tyler, just quickly. I mean, look, that's why it's become increasingly frustrating for me, right? Because it's not only last season that highlighted, but people like me who've been calling for last summer from the season before that. And it's like we're just so slow on it, dragging our heels, and all we hear is excuses. Yeah. And when I look at the squad, the reason why we haven't done it is because the guys back there are on colossal wages. They ain't going anywhere anytime soon, and nor do they have to. It's Spurs to put themselves in that predicament, and it's like that's why it's taken so long. And it's a piss take. For me, there's no excuse not to have the centre-back ready to go pre-season tour. And look, I can sit here and go, but what if Wolfsburg are holding it up? Okay, pay a bit extra. There's always a price in this world. I've absolutely had enough of it when it comes to the centre-backs. I do fear that, the longer it drags on, the more we're going to see the repercussions of it at the start of the season. But look, let's wait and see. I don't know football, but I do know centre-backs.
Yep. I have a bad feeling we're going to end up with Longley again and, just getting in, Tosin or someone. And I'm really concerned about that. But, at this point, as long as we get on anybody, like you said earlier, what'd you say, Krusty the Clown and Ronald McDonald?
Yeah.
As long as we get on anybody at this point.
Yeah. You guys would take any type of change. Yeah, I could tell that you're just so desperate. Do you feel like, though, Tyler, I mean, I think I do know your answer, but it feels like a lot of people like Dave just sort of feel like we're going to face some repercussions for just sort of, these not coming in soon enough. And maybe an Ange Postecoglou could sort of struggle maybe in the first games or so unnecessarily because he hasn't gotten in some of those players soon enough.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of do respect what Ange is doing as much as I hate Dyer and, Davies and Sanchez being at the club still. But I do like that he's giving everybody a chance. He's a new manager coming in. He hasn't. I don't think he's ever managed in a league where any of these players was playing, with or against him. So he's not too familiar probably with a lot of them, and he's trying everybody out because I want Ndombele to get another chance. So I am being a little bit of a hypocrite. I know Dyer's been here 10 seasons, but I do want Ndombele to get another chance. I want Reguilon to get another chance. So I do like that he is giving everyone a chance. But one of my big problems is, we're talking about preseason. These guys are going to be like a guy like Dyer. I'll give it to him. He does have a lot of fight. I think he wants to stay in the club because the wages he's on is sickening wages. Why would he ever want to leave? Same with Sanchez. That's why Sanchez denied it last season. But I'm sure they're going to look perfectly fine in preseason. Let's be honest. They probably have good performances, and that might end up happening, and we bring in Longley and Tosin because we think that left side center back Davies or Dyer can maybe start in that still. I'm concerned about that for sure.
Very balanced answer, to be fair, Tyler, because in the one spot we're always like, oh, Ange needs to got these players. And probably the majority of the fan base would agree. But then at the same time, the majority of the fan base is saying, but he also needs to give another chance to Ndombele. He needs to give another chance to Lo Celso. And it is all kind of a bit hypocritical. You can't really expect him to go into it that sort of way and with that sort of kind of knowledge. And that means then everybody's going to be, like I sort of said earlier, given that quote unquote swim test, right? Where they're going to all be kind of given the same sort of test, the same sort of kind of conditions, and whichever players come out of it, looking better than others are the ones that Ange might keep the faith in, and the ones who failed the swim test are the ones that will be shown the door. And there could be some players, sad enough, that might end up passing that sort of initial test, that maybe we don't want them to. And that's kind of the sad reality.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I get it, right? But they shouldn't be allowed. That's what annoys me.
They shouldn't be allowed to take a swim test.
No, it's so irritating, man. Honestly, every Christmas I'm just going to start writing down Dyer out, Sanchez out on my Christmas list. I've had enough of it. But Tyler, what about Ndombele? A lot of people want to see this guy being given a second chance.
He's on the Tanguy train.
I think you spoke about it. What does he have to do tomorrow to prove that he's got it, that he wants to be here?
Yeah, look, what happened at Morecambe was almost, it kind of is unforgivable, but the talent this guy has, he's so incredible. Just the other day watching his highlights again, I was literally stiff as a board. He's fucking incredible. I can't wait to see him. I love that he's next to Basuma and Madison in the training, and they're starting together. Hopefully they start the match tomorrow. But he does have to get his act together. He has to stay fit. Like the point you've made, Dave, he's on $200,000 a week, basically Kane's contract, and we can't be just bringing him off the bench for 20-30 minutes every game. So hopefully he can start. If he starts and gives us 60 minutes every game, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Can he adapt to the league, though, Tyler? Because that's his biggest problem, right? You look at the French league, slow, shit, let's call it what it is, crap, and, it's easy to play a system in that league to be able to suit him. You look at what he done at Napoli, slow league, it suits him. Can he adapt to keep up to pace with the Premier League? Because we've seen glimpses of it, but is it in him to give it to us full time?
Like you said, we've seen the glimpses. We've seen him dribble by 10 people and make a great pass. We've definitely seen it. Can he do it for 60, 70 minutes every game? Who knows? It's, I think if anyone can get it out of him, it's going to be Ange. So let's see what happens. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I think I really have a good feeling about him turning it around and having a pretty solid season. Especially, well, at least until Bentancur comes back. We'll see what happens there.
That's what I think would be his way to kind of win back a lot of Spurs fans, Tyler, is for him to basically make that Bentancur absence look not as bad as it really is. If he were to fill in for a few months, make it seem like, the Bentancur injury and everything isn't going to be as problematic for us as it could be, that would be a great way to start repaying kind of back some of the faith that has been lost, I think, within Ndombele. I think there are a lot of people like yourself and I that probably will continue to ooh and ah over the tricks and flicks and, his ability and, what he can do. But at the end of the day, he is going to need to put in more than I think a few performances, you know, off the bat, you know, to be able to win back Spurs fans. I think it's going to basically need to be as something as big as I just said, make something like a big injury of another player look like kind of nothing, because he's playing that well and he's doing that much for the team to sort of make it feel like we're in a good position. And I'm curious to see, because within Ndombele, I don't know, like it's sort of like he owes us a lot, but at the same time, it's sort of like his relationship with Spurs fans is so fractured that it is kind of, I wouldn't be all that surprised if he feels like he's not really going to try all that hard to, you know, to try to get back into it. But from what we're gathering, he's at least trying pretty hard, you know, to at least, you know, make an impression on Postecoglou, which is all we want.
And there's only 3 midfield spots available for a starter, and you know, as of right now, it's looking like he's winning that 3rd spot. I mean, Maddison's probably a lock. I think a lot of people think Bissouma's a lock, but let's just see what happens. I'm sort of I think he will end up being a starter, but you know, we'll see what happens. I think a lot of people are, you know, he had a couple good games at the end of the season that made him, you know, look like really solid player for the future. But in the beginning of the season, I know it was a different manager, Conte, obviously, you know, completely different tactically, but you know, he didn't look too good. But let's just see what happens. I think he's got a lot of talent. Yeah. And then there's players like Sarr, who has extreme talent. I think his ceiling probably is the highest out of all of our midfielders. You know, it's looking like, you know, him not being in that second team is very concerning. I think, you know, it's looking like he's going to get loaned out. But yeah, well, I don't know, though, because obviously I think we'll sell Lo Celso. Sadly, I think it's looking like Højbjerg will be gone, which I think is a massive mistake, because I think a lot of people think he's, you know, right there with Skip, that they're very similar, and, you know, Skip might even be better, and he's younger. You know, that's bullshit, to be honest. I love Skippy. I love that he's a Tottenham boy, but Højbjerg is, I think, in my opinion, pretty far ahead of him, especially on the ball and making, you know, playmaking and all that, and even under pressure. I think Skippy is, you know, I think it was super concerning that Skip, you know, couldn't even start in the under 21 games, you know. So, and he was the oldest one there. So you have to look at it like that. And
that's a fair realism, Tyler. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I mean, honestly, Ellie would be loving this, to be honest. I
don't think Højbjerg's incredible. Like, if we can get like 40-something mil for him, and that makes it like easier to bring in a Tapsoba, and then maybe in January we bring in a solid 6. You know, maybe we do something like that. But I think Skip will stay around because he has got the homegrown quota and he's younger. And, you know, we'll see what happens. He's a Tottenham boy. All the managers have said he could definitely be a future Tottenham captain. So, you know, let's see what happens there. But I think we'll definitely be hurting in the beginning of the season, at least, if Højbjerg is gone and Skip's the backup 6.
For sure. Tyler, why don't you help us answer Rob Wallace's super chat? Rob Wallace, we do have your other comment started, and I will address it in a few minutes, my man. But he says, some say players are stealing a living. What about Rodon? I don't think that he's been given a chance. I don't recall him making errors like Dyer has. Maybe it's because he's Welsh better than Sanchez. I'll kick this one off. I think, look, when it comes to Joe Rodon, I understand the point that Rob is trying to make. Me personally, I think it's because I've never seen it in him to be able to play at this level. You know, with Tanganga, I've seen it in glimpses, that debut against Liverpool. I've seen it against Man City where he pocketed Grealish and Sterling. With Rodon, I think the performance I remember most is the one against Chelsea. You know, I think we ended up drawing 0-0, if I remember correctly, or losing 1-0, and he was all right, but there was some dodgy moments there. For me, you know, it just... Jose Mourinho wants a centre-back, and the club just brought in a cheap option. And I think, you know, the fact that he keeps getting loaned out, I think it's more to do so that he just isn't there at this level, as bad as Dyer and Sanchez and everybody else is. You know, we got championship defender at a championship price. It is what it is.
Yeah, I think he's just shown to be a championship defender, Rob, and not much better than that. And while he hasn't made as many high profile errors, I think Sanchez and Dyer has. I think his sort of level has been, for the most part, found out either by I think, fans or by kind of the coach, because he hasn't exactly been preferred, by than the other center backs. As much as we kind of continue to rip on them, they do seem to be preferred over the likes of Brodin. And then also too, like, when I remember watching him, I felt like he was decent at being a bit no nonsense, but I do remember on the ball, he was very concerning, where it was sort of like he struggled to sort of be able to turn in certain directions. He really struggled to be able to play with his left foot. And then also, I think when he was playing for Antonio Conte, he did not exactly convince all that much, really, when he was given, I think, at least some chances. I remember he played in the Enes Mura match, didn't do too well. He played in some of the Conference League games with Conte and didn't do too well, didn't play all that well, I think, with Nuno either in the Conference League games. So I think he was given some chances, and he didn't play all that bad, but didn't exactly play all that great either. That's what I sort of remember, like Dave said.
Yeah, I think we have to go back to when we bought him. I mean, at the time, I remember us, I don't remember how much exactly it was. What was it, like somewhere around 10 million or something?
Yeah, 11 million, I think it was, something
But
ridiculous.
I remember buying him and seeing comments by Swansea City fans saying that he wasn't even their best center back at the time. So it was just a shocking buy altogether. We haven't seen too much of him. I don't want to just talk shit about him, because for Wales, he's had some really good performances, to be fair to him. But has he showed it in a Tottenham kit? Not yet. Has he been given a full chance? Probably not. I mean, Dyer's been given chances for 10 seasons. But I think, if we end up keeping him as an option, it's again, very concerning if we don't bring anyone else in.
Yeah, look, like I say, I think I understand the point Rob here is trying to make, but I think the conclusion is, I think Jacko's point is absolutely, sums it up. That he's just not good enough on the ball. You look at a lot of that Wales backline, and I include Davies in this. The reason why they're always under the pump is because the defenders can't play out from the back. They can't get the ball to Wales' more attacking players, and that's why Wales are always under the pump. That's why they're always on the back foot. And for me, I just want to be done with it. I think we've sort of seen a cheap opportunity there. And it backfired. But big up, Rob. Great super chat, and I really appreciate the opposing point. Brilliant. I love it. And he also says, Dave and Jack didn't make the trip to Perth, dealing with family stuff. Game is at 7 p.m. tonight. So a long day waiting for it to start. Big up the Irish Hotspur. Well, look, my man, family comes first, the very most important thing in life, and should always be number one. Hopefully you get it sorted out, brother, and it's not serious. And let's get the win tonight, Robbie. Let's go, brother. Big yourself up, my man. You're on mute, Jacko.
Thanks, Rob, as well, for gifting the memberships to plenty of people in the chat as well, and giving them a chance to come on next time. Really do appreciate that, Rob. And like I said, do enjoy, or like Dave said, do hope you enjoy your evening tonight. And I know you got a lot of busy day planned ahead, but maybe Spurs can be the relief at the end of the day. Big yourself up, Rob. Top
big
man.
Up, Rob. And also big up Derek Hutchinson and Tequila 316. We won't fine you for being late, lads. Don't worry about that. We won't fine you. We'll let you away with it. We're in a good mood today because Tottenham are back tomorrow. But Tyler, I mean, big yourself up, my man. Great calling. I love some of the observations and some of the points you made. You cracked me up tonight, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me, guys. And big up everyone else that was on before me. So many great calls. Ryan never fails to disappoint, laughing and wise. I mean, I'm always in almost tears with him on there. He is so hilarious. But yeah, big up Kate and Jim. And the debut was great from Chris. I'm gonna check his channel out. I think everybody should give him a subscription over there. He seems like a really good guy.
Nice. Yeah. Very nice of you, Tyler. Well done, man.
My man, absolutely legend. Sharing the love out, Tyler. It's been a pleasure, with trying to enjoy last season with you. Getting some chats in over the summer, and hopefully we can all enjoy this season together, brother. Right?
Yep, and I can't wait to wake up at 4 a.m. for the first preseason game and seeing Dyer probably subbed on at halftime and end up blowing the lead. Yeah. Come on, you Spurs.
Yeah, that's what you signed up for, baby. Get in there. See you soon, Tyler.
I spent the $45 on Spurs play, not knowing it was on CBS Sports. So I guess I'm watching the Dyer documentary to fall asleep tonight.
Still haven't watched it. I'm still holding strong. But Tyler, pick yourself up, my man. And if you want nightmares, do watch the Dyer documentary.
Yeah, I think it'll help me fall asleep, hopefully.
Big up, my man. See you, Tyler.
Have a good one, guys. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Good call.
Great calling from Tyler. Great calling. Absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. We got a super chat from Moondog. Big up, Moondog. You didn't even have to put in a super chat to do that, brother. You could just put the comment in. We would have done it for you. But big up, Moondog. He wants to shout out. And also big up, Charlie. Hopefully you're keeping well, my man. Hopefully you're a Spurs fan, just like the Owl lad. You know, we don't want you straying over to the red side of North London. I know that can happen in families over there. So hopefully you've stayed true. And you are a Spurs fan, just like the Owl lad. But your Owl lad's absolutely amazing. Big up, Moondog. Still can't forget this, you know. You know, if Harry Kane even does leave, I mean, at least I've got this to, you know, get me by every single night. Moondog is an absolute legend. Big up Moondog and big up Charlie. And if there's any other family members sitting around, even the goldfish swimming around in the bowl, big yourself up.
Big up, Charlie. You have a top man of a father who's gifting out plenty of good Spurs memorabilia to plenty of people, good Spurs artwork. And then also as well, you need to learn to keep him away from maybe certain bets about the, you know, Eric Dyer, because I think, you know, he's come clean and he's decided, you know, stay away from all the Eric Dyer bets. But, you know, now that you're sort of his son, you know, and I see that, you know, you're around, need to maybe keep him away from, keep him on the good track, you know, maybe move him towards, you know, some Pedro Porro bets or something like that. That's where I think, you know, the money could be made. Big up, Charlie. Hopefully you're enjoying the show, man.
Yeah, big up, guys. Big up. And Moondog, when are you going to get out on these fan shows and have a conversation with us as well? You know, where I'm not going to let you go. I'm not going to let you escape it, my man. But big up, Moondog. But look, let's keep moving. We do have 2 guests left, and I must stress these are the last 2. Jack needs to get to bed early, and so do I, because we have to get up nice and early for that watch. And I'm more so Jack than me, to be honest with you. But you know your boy, he needs his feed of chips, so he goes to bed angry. But look, let's get on the next guest. And it's the one and only Hotspur. Some would say, comes from a land down under. Love it. Love it. Let's get him on. Big up, Paul. How you keeping, my man?
Good to see you. Good to see you, folks. Back like the old days, eh?
Oh, man, the season's back, eh? The season's back. I'm
pumped. I can't wait. Because there's no more sleeps here. I've done all my sleeping. This is match day for me now.
What are you going to do for the next few hours? You're going to be wired. We're all going to be asleep.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I might have to have a power nap this afternoon. But yeah, the sun's up. That's it. It's not setting until we smash Stratford FC off the park.
Are you still pinching yourself, Paul? Because it is going to be Ange, you know, wearing the tracksuit. I think he's going to go for a tracksuit tomorrow. Probably not a suit or anything. You know, he seems more a tracksuit manager type.
He might. I think he's more of a jumper or a suit manager. So we'll see. But no, this is a dream come true, man, Jack. You know, this is the start. The start. That's why I'm excited. I'm just excited to see the primordial soup of a new football playing dynamic powerhouse machine.
How much can Ange really incorporate that though, Paul, without the sort of centre backs? Because we know how crucial it is to sort of, you know, to play Ange's system. You have to be able to play out from the back.
Look, for now, I'm just the excitement over Ange leading the boys out is just dwarfing everything. It's like a bright sunny light in my life, and the shadow of us not having a centre back or two is there is a little bit of disappointment there, but it's very dim by comparison of the excitement I'm feeling.
And look, another thing I wanted to actually pick your brains on is, are you surprised that Ange brought the whole squad with him to Australia? I was actually expecting them to leave some at home.
Yeah, I mean, especially after, you know, last year, it's quite a big deal, wasn't it? Who's being left off the plane? Whereas this year, I think he's just giving everyone a blank slate. So it's audition time, isn't it, boys? You know, we're going to start seeing who can cut it and who can't. And you know, some of the players that cut it might surprise us, and some of the players that can't cut it might surprise us as well. But blank slate, you're only as good as your last performance, and I've got a completely open mind, man. Open mind on the whole thing.
Do you feel like Ange is sort of getting what he wants? Do you think he's already running into troubles with Daniel Levy, Paul, at this stage? How do you think it's going for him thus far when it comes to players out, players in?
Who knows, man? I mean, that'll probably be a factor before long, but at the moment, I think he's happy. And it's not like we haven't it's not like we're not going to buy the centre backs. It's just dragging on a bit. So I'm sure it will happen. But you know, Angie's really focused on getting everyone ready before Brentford. So I'm sure we'll have it all sorted out by then. But you know, these pre-seasons, it's a good chance to bring out everyone and see you can put some boots on and play some football. That's all they got to do is play football. And
is there any players though that you do hope that you maybe, you know, will thrive on the ranch that maybe is getting a second chance? You can say Dyer if you want. It won't annoy me, Paul.
Well, you know what? Even Dyer, man, if he turns into the best defender on the planet in a Spurs shirt, then he does. But you know, whether that's likely or not might be another thing, man. You know, but I'm really excited to see Basuma because he, like, in all the training footage and everything, he looks raring to go, man.
Apparently, he's the dressing room DJ.
Oh well, that's it, man. He's got the good vibes with him. He's I mean, there's no way I'd get between him and a bloody football. I mean, he's huge, isn't he? So, you know, if we get that player that we saw at Brighton, then it's almost like a new signing, really. Almost like a new signing. That's the phrase that Tottenham fans end up saying a lot, isn't it? Because we don't buy anyone. But, you know, I don't know. I'm excited for him. Udogie, see what Solomon can do. Maddison and Kane, see how they link up. There's a lot of, when you get past the back line, there's a lot of exciting things to see, just how it will all coalesce. It's going to be good football.
Do you feel like Ange Postecoglou is handling all 78 Harry Kane questions that he's received thus far?
Yeah, and he's sort of starting to shut people down a little bit on them. And I mean, it's all crap, isn't it? I mean, it's all coming out of Germany, all their newspapers. They like having breakfast with Harry Kane every day. And I mean, I think Harry Kane's staying. That's it.
Why? What gives you that, or what gives you that feeling?
Well, his only option at the moment seems to be Bayern Munich, and I don't think, you know, I've heard people say, oh, you know, Harry Kane's got to leave Tottenham if he's got ambition, and I don't think going to Bayern Munich is a sign of ambition, really. And besides, he can wait 1 year and he can go anywhere he feels like it. But at the moment, it's just Bayern Munich. I wouldn't bloody go Bayern Munich. So,
do you know what? I get that to a certain degree, right? Because for me, you know, people say he needs to go off and win a trophy. Okay, if he went off and joined PSG, do people respect him because he's got a league title? I don't think so. Do people put him in the conversation as one of the best strikers in England if he goes and wins the Bundesliga? I don't think so either, because they don't put Owen Hargreaves in that conversation in the midfielders. So, you know, I struggle to see it. For me, you know, he's got to win something in England to get that respect. Now, look, I'm not dissing Bayern Munich. I think they're an incredible football institution, you know, and I admire how they do things. I really do. But, you know, in terms of the conversation over here, until he wins something over here, I don't think, you know, I don't think he'll get respected if he wins something somewhere else. Maybe across the world he might, but not in England. I don't think so.
Nah, well, you know, he'll be around this season, and let's see what happens if he scores 40 in, you know. I mean, if he goes, I think he's going to be missing out on something special at Tottenham. I really do. I always say this every year, but I am more excited this year than last year. And the treble's on, isn't it? So, you know.
Well, look, Paul, you're in and around the hysteria as well. What's it like in Australia at the minute? You know, is there a big sort of,
the pulse? You
know, frenzy around the place? What's it like at the minute?
Look, soccer isn't the most popular sport here, but there's definitely a buzz about Ange and Tottenham. There's bugger all about West Ham. No one can give a shit about West Ham being here. You know, it's like West 2, you know. And, you know, I mean, you saw the standard of the A-League the other night. West Ham 6, Perth Glory 2. That's about football here. But, you know, we got Ange doing the tour. We got the Women's World Cup soon. And we'll see. Ange in his press conference mentioned, you know, because he won the Asian Cup in 2015 with Australia, and really that didn't have any lasting effect on football in this country, unfortunately. So it takes a lot for it to get going. Maybe this tour and the Women's World Cup might do something, but it's always off the back page unless it's something extraordinary.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting. I thought there would have been a bit more of a buzz around the place, especially with, you know, Ange Postecoglou's connections. But you know what? It's one of them. You wait until you see tomorrow. You see Spurs fans coming out from everywhere, coming out from the bush. Isn't that right, Paul? Like yourself.
Look, I'm really hoping that with Ange in charge, I'm going to see a few more Spurs shirts around Sydney anyway, because it's just all Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, no Spurs shirts. So we'll get a few of them happening. Happening.
Hey, it's probably, I'd imagine, actually, the Australian army is actually growing when it comes to the Spurs fans. I wouldn't doubt it. Do you feel like Ange is sort of making at least a good impression to the entire squad? He doesn't need to make an impression to just, Harry Kane, but do you think mostly everyone is, at least receiving him quite well? Do you think maybe there are certain players that maybe are already, kind of working against him? How do you think he's coming across to everybody?
Oh, I don't know about working against him. I think everyone's in at the moment. I saw, was it James Maddison came out and said that Ange's instructions are very clear. And I like hearing that. When you hear old footballers talk about their favourite managers or best guys to work under, that's a common theme. They're very simple in their instructions. You don't want a whiteboard with a grid on it and lines and all this. You just say, kick the ball to Maddison, kick it to Kane and score a goal. That's it. Football's an easy game, man. Simple.
Yeah, I sort of felt that way with maybe some of the players that are already kind of getting, at least from what we can tell, good impressions on Ange, and that maybe part of the reason Tanguy Ndombele's even in the team in the first place, I feel like, Paul, is because Tanguy's kind of a guy who kicks it forward. He's a guy who goes forward. He's a guy who's positive on the ball. He'll take a lot of risks that might end up hurting you. But at the end of the day, he's not going to be going through the motions of kicking it sideways and going through sort of that side to side, left to right sort of thing. In fact, he's a bit of the opposite. So that's probably why Ange even likes him.
Wasn't that horrible last season, watching all that sideways and backwards stuff? It's gone. That's it. No more. It's all going to be that way. So that's where you want the ball to go, not faffing around at the back. That's what I'm excited. I'm excited to, hear you guys when you're doing your watch-alongs be happy and enthusiastic instead of just bloody miserable all year. It's an exciting time for Spurs fans. I want to see a few more smiles. It'd be cool.
And you know what? It really took its toll on me last year. I just want to get back to being a happy clapper. Like Jack says, I just want to get back to being a happy clapper instead of, calling them clowns and idiots and this, that, and the other. I actually want to praise them. I want to give them good nicknames. I want to sit there and cheer them on and stuff like that. So, look, hopefully it can happen this year, because I think, the whole Spurs fan base needs it. The last 3-4 years, it's just been very, very divisive. And we just need a season where we can sit back and just enjoy the football again, getting back to what, we've all watched as a kid growing up, this, that, and the other. So, hopefully Ange delivers that. But, like I keep saying, board need to help him with it. He's not going to turn, Dyer into fucking Maldini. He's not going to turn Sanchez into Nesta. It's never, ever going to happen. Only Jesus could turn water into wine. He's the only man I've ever known being able to do something like that. So, for me, because I already see the stuff coming out. Ali Gold sort of, and it's not Ali Gold's fault, right? He's only sort of reporting what the situation is. But, Ange brought everyone because, there's not really any interest in them. And if we leave them at home, then there is no interest in them and this and that. And it's like, we're already being softened up to it, to the reality that these guys could end up being here yet again. And it's sort of like, fuck me, just Jesus Christ, just do something and get them out, and just get in the real deal so that we can just progress as a football club. But most importantly, give Ange Postecoglou a chance. Because all I want to hear any Spurs fans this year go, well, it's Ange's fault that Dyer can't defend. He's not doing this and he's not doing that. It's like, Jesus Christ, just take the jersey off Dyer and put it on Ange Postecoglou and go. You know what I mean? I'm fed up with it. But Paul, you could be here all night to talk, my man. Absolutely love chatting football with you. But I'm sure there'll be plenty of that tomorrow, my man. But most importantly, you have started up your own channel. It's been going bloody great guns. By the way, I want to make an appearance soon as well. But what's going on over there?
Oh, well, it's a Hotspur hippie, the only psychedelic soccer show on the internet. And, I do like maybe streams a couple of times a day and then go off for a walk. It's just me babbling about Tottenham. So, there's no fact in there. It's just a stream of bollocks, really. But it's fun. I'm having a ball doing it. But David, come on, I just want to hear you say it, man. Are we on for the treble this year or what?
Oh, look, you know me, new season, new optimism. I think we can always do the treble at the start of the season. Like I always said, as a football fan, I will go into every season believing that we can do the impossible. And then when it's mathematically not possible, then I reassess where we can finish. So, you know, if anyone's looking for any sort of real honest predictions of me this season, you ain't going to get it. All you're going to get is that I want Tottenham to win the league, and I believe we can until it can't. So,
that's the way, man. That's the way.
You know what I love about the channel, Paul? You know, I tune in and I never really know where you're going to be. Sometimes you can be at home. Sometimes you can be at the top of a mountain. Sometimes you're down by the river. You know, it's sort of like, guess where Paul's going to be today. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, well, I'm back in the mountains at the moment, so I'll be doing a bit of bushwalking, and if I find any nice, calm, zen place and I get some Spurs thoughts, I'll knock out a video. So yeah, no, I'm nearly at 1,000 subscribers, which is like blowing me away, really. So
there you go, baby.
Yeah, I'll start milking some of that YouTube money, man. You know, that's
believe me, it's not that glamorous, Paul. It's not that glamorous, man. Believe me. But Paul, big yourself up, my man, and we'll speak tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to your watch along, guys. Is it YouTube? Is Sean on it as well?
I don't think so. No, I think Sean's doing his own thing. I don't know what 100%. I won't know until I finish.
Oh well, I'll be tuning in.
To a few people.
Thanks, folks. Peace and love, everyone, and come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
See you tomorrow,
Absolutely
Paul.
Love that, Paul. See you tomorrow, my man. Big up, Paul. Everybody, please do get over and check out Hotspur's, YouTube channel. He's been great with us, all last season. Any pre-match pump up, despite the shit we weren't through, he was always there putting a smile on people's faces. Let's repay that favor. Get over there and smash that subscribe button. He's an absolute great man. He's
king really of the Ange PR team. So if you're ever looking for some good Ange Postecoglou PR, he's your man. He's in charge of all of it, everybody. So get on over and subscribe to the Hotspur Hippie, everybody. Like you said, the only psychedelic Spurs stream.
Love it. Well, look, let's get on to the last guest of the evening. And it is Højbjerg's #1 fan. So any Højbjerg haters out there, beware. Let's get her on. Ellie, how are you keeping, my dear?
Yes, at last. I've been waiting patiently. Isn't the Hotspur hippie brilliant? He's fantastic, that guy. I love him.
Who do you think has been
to his shows as well?
He helped make last season bearable for me anyway.
Yeah. Do you know what made me laugh, David? Your water to wine joke about only Jesus could turn water to wine. Right. So I'm thinking, right, this is my angle on it. I think Ange Postecoglou can turn a souvla into champagne. Come on. Champagne football at White Hart Lane. That's what we want to see. Yes.
Yeah. Ellie, someone that gets down to games like you, how important is it for you to see that sort of brand of football again?
Yeah, you know what? It's like the Spurs way. I come from the era of Glenn Hoddle, Ozzy Ardiles, when I was old enough to remember, when you're that age, you savour, right? When you're young as a kid, 5, 6, 7, you don't really know about football really, right? But once you get past 12, 13, you start understanding the game more, and it's in your heart, and you love football for what it is. It's the beautiful game, and you want it seen, you want it played in the beautiful way. And we've been playing negative football, right? Maybe not always Conte's fault. Maybe the players didn't have it in them, passing it sideways, backwards. That's what I like that comment about. There was one guy who said that Højbjerg passes it sideways. What player is he watching? That's what I want to know. I'm here to defend him, because he plays the most progressive passes. What are they watching, these people? Are they just watching him pass to Dyer and Dyer just muffs it? The thing is, sometimes he hasn't got an option to pass forward because the forwards were stagnating and they lose interest as well. When you don't move the ball quickly, boys, right, from the back to the middle, the front men get bored. They're thinking, I'm making a run and they're not passing it to me. Now, with Ange Postecoglou's football, it's going to be 1-2, 1-2, move off the ball, 1-2, 1-2. It's a very attractive way of playing football. It's like our old push and run side of the 1950s. you know, who were hailed as one of the best teams ever, you know. And my dad told them my dad told me about them boys. I didn't get the privilege of watching them live because I wasn't even born, but I watched them after.
Yeah.
You're doing your Spurs history, you know, like a cab driver does his knowledge. Yeah. Come on, Spurs.
Do you think Postecoglou is appealing more to maybe the, you know, the more experienced generation of Spurs fans than maybe previous managers did, Ellie, like kind of Jose, Conte, Nuno? Do you feel like they didn't do as good of a job of kind of, you know, appealing to people like yourself and Paul and people like that?
Definitely. And the way he talks, it's so admirable. You know, he mentioned Glenn Hoddle the other day and it melted my heart because he's the ultimate footballer, Glenn Hoddle. You can't get better. The technique, the deft touches, the passing, the moving, the goals. His goals were incredible, boys. And I was so touched by what he said. You know, he goes, you have to look back at your past to go forward, right? You learn from your past. What made you great? What made us great in that era? It was players like Glenn Hoddle, Ozzy Ardiles, Mickey Hazard, Tony Galvin, the Irish lad. I've got to give the Irish a mention because I've got my Irish citizenship now. I've got it. Come on. I don't know if you know, if you've been watching it, boys, but I've been begging to get the Irish citizenship.
I've been watching. I've been keeping an eye. Dermot and Philip have been putting you through your paces for that, for sure. You know, two boys would be brilliant on the border force. So they would nothing to declare. You'll see Dermot and Philip.
I know. Philip makes me laugh. He goes, application denied. So he's making me work for it, but then Colin finally buckled. I didn't even give him a bribe, which is good.
You treat hilarious over there.
How important is it that the manager remembers the history or appeals to, you know, maybe every fan base, not just the younger people like myself? Ellie, how important is that how you unite the fan base? Is that part of it? Just by sort of mentioning people like Glenn Hoddle, mentioning people like Birkinshaw, etc.
Yeah. And you know what? He doesn't just do it because he has to do it. He's doing it because he cares about the club. Everywhere he's been, they've not been winners, right? And he's always turned them into bigger winners. Like Celtic, yes, they are winners, right? But they weren't when he arrived. And he turned them into winners, right? So traditionally, they win things. When they weren't winning things and Rangers were winning the championship, he said, right, this is what we've got to do. And I loved what he said about cup games as well, right? He said that once you're out of the cup, forget it. It's gone. Don't dwell on it because it brings your team down. And his mentality will shine through with the players as well. Even the players that we think are poo, you know, because there's a lot of poo in our team, but there's some very talented boys as well. And what we've got to do, well, first of all, he's got to make sure that all those players that are on the borderline of getting sold, he's got to G them up to see if they can save their careers. Because, like, we've given them a lot of chances, boys. It's not just too many. And maybe Postecoglou is the man who might bring the best out of certain players that we think are dead, you know. Like
remember, Eddie, only Jesus turned water into wine.
You know what I mean? So
do you know what?
I don't think he can turn Dyer into champagne, but if he can turn him into wine, that'll do for me.
Do you know what though? I think we've also got to be wary. You know, we're always looking at these managers coming in to save these guys' careers.
Yeah.
You know, they can't do it unless these guys want to do it themselves, unless they have the mentality to do it, unless they improve what makes them weak. You know, so, you know, it's also on them as well. And I think this gets lost in football nowadays, where everyone always puts it on the manager, on the manager.
I agree.
You know, it also comes down to the individuals as well. You know, and over the last few years, we've bought some questionable individuals that haven't exactly, you know, shown 100% commitment. But you know what? You mentioned what Ange Postecoglou does around the cups. And one thing he done at Celtic, and I just thought it's so genius, so subtle, but so genius. On the build up to the cup, he gets his team to start practicing penalties, which then makes it change the year. They know they're in a cup game, so it makes them hungry. And I just think it's absolutely genius that just something so simple like getting them to practice penalties, and stuff like that gets them in the mindset for the cup, and then they sort of realize what's at stake. I absolutely love that. It's absolutely genius from Postecoglou there, Ellie.
Yeah, I agree. And also, do you know what I like about him as well? He's got a fantastic ethos on how the way the game should be played. Yeah, he said, right, I don't know if you saw that video where he was shouting at the player, really screaming at him from the touchline for passing it back. That's what I want to see. Why are you passing it back? He's going to kill that player when he gets off the pitch. He's got daggers for him. And
my only concern if that's Dyer, he'll probably start crying,
Yeah. You know what? Some players are weak mentally. They can't help themselves. They're just weak mentally. So if he can work on that part of their game as well, their mentality, right? Because we haven't been winners, boys, for 15 years. This is our 15th year that we're going into where we haven't won a trophy. And it's really bad for Spurs to be like that. All right, some people say we've had other periods where we haven't won cups. But like from my era, we were always winning something. 2 or 3 cups, maybe 4 cups every decade. And then Bill Nicholson's, we won 8. If you count the charity shields as well, that's more. But it does. You know what it is, right? If you win a trophy, it really does lift the club, and it lifts the fans. We're paying good money to watch these players week in, week out. We deserve something back, and we deserve to see our boys, right, lifting the cup and bringing it down to Tottenham, where I was born. It makes you feel so proud of the team, and I just want to see a progression this year and actually win something. Come on, boys, deliver it, because we've been that close. We've been that close to winning the biggest one as well, the Champions League, but we just froze in the final, and it was such a shame that we.
Well, I think, you know what, Ellie? I think we might just see us go for stuff for seriously this year. He hasn't come in here, which he could have done, and said, look, this is going to be a project. It's going to take a few years. He hasn't done that. He's come in and he's talking about what it's going to take to win trophies. So I do think potentially, we might see you even hear what Madison said about it. It's different. The mentality is different. There's a hunger about the place. So be interesting to see what comes of it. But Ellie, tell people where they can find you, my dear.
Yeah, well, they can find me at, I've renamed my channel so many times. It's unbelievable. But it's THFC Women Till I Die, which is a nice catchy number. And then I do my World Cup specials as well, like Ellie's World Cup specials. So I did one today on the Samba girls, sorry. I've got boys on the mind, that's the problem. Right, so, yeah, you know what I mean. I'm a girl, I like boys. Right, so I did a show on Brazil today, which really went down well. I really enjoyed myself, played a bit of samba music as well, gave them all the lowdown about what Brazil women are going to do in the World Cup. And I'm going to do Australia. Yeah, so I'm doing Australia with Paul and Kate. Nice. So, yeah. So, yeah, what I'm going to do is revisit the Ireland team as well for you, David. And I'd love you to come on, and the USA team for Jack, because I've already done them, but I sort of done them on my own, you see. So I'd love to revisit. And as the World Cup starts, it's going to be a very good tournament, guys. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised at the standard of women's football, how far it's come, and I know there's a lot of people out there that hasn't watched women's football and they would never do it, but just give it a try, guys, or girls who haven't watched women's football, because it's going to be it's going to be a superb tournament, I'm telling you, and it's really heating up
I actually think this tournament will get record numbers. I think it'll surprise a lot of people. Like, you already look at the Ireland Australia game; they had to move it from its original destination to a much bigger destination. Now, look, that could be that there's so much Irish that's emigrated over to Ireland. That could be a factor. But what I will say is, I think you will get record numbers for sure. But everybody,
the Irish are descending.
That's it,
Australia, come on, the Irish.
We're famous for traveling, famous for traveling.
Yeah,
definitely. That's why it annoys me when Tottenham lose away games, because we're so Irish people are so good at traveling. But you know what, Ellie, big yourself up, my dear. I really appreciate your time coming on. Hopefully we get the win tomorrow. And you know what? I'm looking forward to sharing this season with you. We always have great fun and great banter through it.
And big up the Irish Hotspur. Big up Kate's channel, Spurs. Just the Girl Loves Spurs. And big up Mia's channel, Spurs Between the Line. Because it's hard for us women to break into this hemisphere of a male-dominated YouTube, right?
Well, I'd say
true that.
I think big up Hollyhock Agenbar, fantastic girl. Doing it for the girls. You know what? We all got our space, right? And we all want to be backed, and we all want to be loved, right? So, all these ladies' channels, we're bringing it to the boys as well. So, big up all the women on YouTube. Come on.
That you are. Well, do you know what, Ellie? It may be tough for you, but the whole lot of you make it look goddamn easy. So that's a credit to you guys. But Ellie, beat yourself up, my dear, and we'll speak again very, very soon.
See you soon, Ellie. I look forward to your watch along tomorrow.
Thank you.
Look,
come on, the Irish Hotspur.
Big up, Ellie. Appreciate that.
Come
Everybody,
on, the Irish Army, get over there. Take care, boys.
Have a good night, Ellie.
See you, Ellie. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Everyone, please get over and check out Ellie's show. Such enthusiasm for football, and it rubs off on the likes of myself and Jack every single day of the week. She's absolute superstar. But look, that's it from us. We'll be up bright and early tomorrow. A few triple expressos around this gap between myself and Jack. And, we'll be up for that watch along. So hopefully as many of you can join us as possible. I understand, people have got work and stuff like that. But if you are about, hopefully you can come in and join, enjoy this game with us tomorrow. Jack, anything you want to say?
No, just join us for the watch along, everybody. As you always, have, and as plenty of people do, they do seem to enjoy, our company on the watch alongs, and come and keep us company for the preseason tomorrow. Hopefully we see you guys there, and opening up the Spurs season with a big game against West Ham. So we'd love to see you, the guys, there for the watch along tomorrow.
Oh, I can't wait to open the season up, my man. I really can't. Do you know what, to everybody else out there? Hopefully we have a season that we can enjoy. We've enjoyed some torrid times together. We've argued, we've moaned, we've ripped each other's head off. Now it's time to smile and enjoy things together. We'll see you all back here tomorrow for the season opener against West Ham. As always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
In Hans Postecoglou, we trust. And Paul
and
O'Connor,
we trust.
Make sure you reserve a date for the Spurs story, brother. Beat yourself up. Peace out. We'll see you tomorrow to pop some bubbles.
See you, everybody.